spectacular in relief of DeBerg, hitting Freddie Solomon against the Rams for a score. The Dallas Cowboys, changes and all, are in their accustomed position, tied for first in the NFC East and riding the wings of Danny White's strong right arm. Here spearing Tony Hill on a rainbow against the Giants last week. And the Cowboys can apply the pressure as well on defense. The hot breath treatment by Ed Too Tall Jones and the thrill of a lifetime for a defensive lineman. John Dutton, the former Baltimore Colt. 38 yards, an interception, a touchdown, his first since high school. Today, it's the interdivision battle between the 49ers and the Cowboys. Welcome to Texas Stadium, live in Irving, Texas, on a beautiful fall day. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Lieber, along with Roger Staubach. You were down in the field. I noticed you comparing pinkies with Danny White. We should point out Steve DeBerg has had a problem as well.
Well, Steve DeBerg is live this week. No electronic voice box for the first time in 4 weeks. Danny's broken fingers on his left hand. He sees no problem, so the quarterbacks are healthy.
49ers can throw it. Boy, can they throw it. They have not only the top, but the top two receivers in the NFC, and Earl Cooper and Paul Hofer.
You couldn't have said any better, Frank. They are excellent receivers. They're both in the top 15 in rushing. They can do it all, and San Francisco's passing attack is geared for the running backs, and they've performed great this year.
Cowboys can throw it, too. They've had their problems running the football. Tony Dorsett last week, only 26 yards against the Giants.
Tony's longest run this year is 20 yards. The Cowboys offensive linemen promised today they're going to spring him loose on some big ones, so we'll just have to wait and see.
We're looking for a great wide-open football game, and we're ready now for the opening kickoff. Let's go down to the field. Absolutely gorgeous fall afternoon. The 49ers and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys have won the toss of the coin and have elected to receive. And that means that Ray Wersching will be kicking off. The deep man is James Jones, number 23, Cowboy rookie from Mississippi State. He was one of the Cowboys' two top draft choices. You recall they had no better than a number 3 pick this year. He was one of two number 3 picks. The other was a linebacker, Bill Rowe. Underway at Texas Stadium, Jones at the 10, up the middle, 15, 20, and forward to about the 23-yard line. And Dallas will put it in play from there. We'll set it for you offensively. Ron Springs back in the starting lineup. He's had an ankle problem. Missed most of last week's game. Cowboy receivers, second to none in Dallas fans' estimation, and the veteran offensive line, one of the best in the league. And of course, the Cowboys, quarterback by Danny White, is currently second in the NFC.
Boy, he's on target, Frank. He's hitting 66% of his passes. He's also thrown for 9 touchdowns, so he's the heart of that offense right now.
At 66%, he would set a new Dallas single-season percentage record if he keeps that pace up. Dorsett hitting the left side across the 25 out to the 27, pickup of 4. We'll set the 49ers defensively for you. They play the standard front 4. They've had some problems in that defensive line. Their top lineman, Dwayne Board, out for the year with a knee injury. They picked up Lawrence Pillars on waivers from the Jets, so he's in there starting at left end. Scott Hilton is back starting in the middle. He's been sidelined since the first game because of an injury. And the two cornerbacks, Melvin Morgan and Ray Rhodes, started the regular season, and then they were hurt. And they're back starting once again for the first time. Second down and 7. Butch Johnson in motion for the Cowboys. Danny White back to throw it, looking toward Johnson. At the 45-yard line. Big stretch by Johnson, but he couldn't get to it. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Of course, that's a new formation for Dallas. They've got Tony Hill and Drew Pearson on one side. They put Butch Johnson in as the third wide receiver in those passing situations. It was 2nd and 7, a passing situation. Butch went in motion and was looking for down and in, but the linebacker, Willie Harper, was right in his way, and Danny waited, and he waited a little bit too long, and the ball was high, and Butch really didn't have a chance for that one.
Danny White sending Pearson wide to the left side. That's Drew Pearson. Tony Hill is split to the right out of the shotgun. 3rd down, 7 from the 27, the snap between his legs. White back on the 5-yard line, looking downfield for someone. Lets it fly for Jay Seldy, the tight end. Seldy has it. Complete at the 30-yard line. First down. What a play.
What a play that was, Frank. I'll tell you, Danny, that's the fear of that shotgun. I used to fear that ball. If you take your eye off the ball, and it's low, you have some problems. That ball was low on the ground. Danny has got excellent speed, though. He's got good maneuverability. He can get around the corner. He's got 4.7 speed. He looks downfield. Jay Salty's still well covered. He's down with G-Many. He's got two people down there on top of him, and he still makes the catch.
Defensively, Dwight Hicks and Scott Perry were back there, couldn't prevent the catch, and the Cowboys have a first down at the San Francisco 30-yard line. Tony Hill wide to the left side. Drew Pearson flank to the right. That could have been disaster for the Cowboys. Billy Joe Dupree in motion. Ron Springs caught behind the line and dragged down by number 74, Jimmy Webb, the defensive end of the 49ers. Loss of the play of 5 yards.
Watch Webb on this play. He's number 74, and he comes into he just breaks a missed assignment there, but Webb charges across the line of scrimmage, and Springs has nowhere to go. Great play by Jimmy Webb.
Second down, 15, loss of 5 on the play. Cowboys are back at the 35-yard line. Game is less than 3 minutes old, and Dallas driving. Pearson to the right side. Tony Hill to the left. Tony Dorsett, Ron Springs, the setbacks. White, good protection. He's got all day to throw it. Tony Hill at the 20-yard line, very close to the first down marker.
Well, Dwight Hicks was the safety man, and he gets over there to help on the cornerback with Ray Rhodes, but the ball's thrown very well. Danny sets up strong. He fires it out there, but it still could have been picked off there. You see Hicks, number 22, actually comes in front of Rhodes, so he anticipated. Well, he just got over there late. And then Tony Hill did what all great receivers do. He concentrated and kept both feet in bounds before he left the playing field, and it was a good catch.
It is a first down. Officials spot the ball just inside the 20. On the delay, Dorsett looking for some running room. Not much there. He squeezes forward to the 17-yard line for a pickup of 2. Again, it was Webb, 74, and Ted Vincent, the defensive tackle, number 75, making the stop for the 49ers. San Francisco tied for first place in the NFC East with the Rams and with Atlanta.
Well, they're in a 2nd and 8 here. This is a run situation. They can run a play action or pass, but when they're inside the 20, Dallas has a tendency to run more on these 2nd and 8 situations. Even though it's second down and it could be a pass, they like to run inside the 20-yard line.
White floats it out, and that is 6. Drew Pearson.
You know, Frank, that was an audible. Danny White audible that play. He saw the cornerback up close. I don't know what the play was called. He had on. He saw Melvin Morgan, number 46, up on top of Tony Hill, and he audible. He audible to play at the line of scrimmage and threw it out. Perfect pass and got it between Melvin Morgan and the safety who was over there. Ricky Churchman got over there a little bit late.
Had to be perfect to be there, and that's got to be a welcome touchdown for Drew Pearson, who has indicated in the past week that he'd like to see the football a little bit more. Raphael Septien on to try the extra point. Charlie Waters to hold. So, with 11 minutes and 37 seconds left to play in the opening period, the Cowboys have taken the opening kickoff and driven some 75 yards and lead the 49ers 7-0. Frank Lieber with Roger Staubach at Texas Stadium. As you look at the book on that Dallas touchdown drive, the big chunk of it, the 43-yard catch by Jay Salty, the longest of his Cowboy career. Kickoff coming down to James Owens at the 10-yard line. Owens out across the 20, and the former UCLA hurdler takes it to the 23-yard line. Owens, we saw in the first game against New Orleans, was shaken up, and Dwight Clark has taken his place at that split end position. Here's the San Francisco backfield, those two great young receivers. Dwight Clark, Freddie Solomon. And the offensive line, that's really where they have the most experience. And we thank you very much. It is nice to be here. From the 23, DeBerg comes out firing, and he's got a receiver. Well, he didn't waste any time at all, hitting Dwight Clark for the first down at the 35-yard line. Dallas defensive line, they play that standard 4-3. Larry Cole is the old man there. Cowboy linebackers, again a veteran crew headed by D.D. Lewis, who's been around a long time. And the Cowboy secondary, Wilson and Mitchell, first and second years respectively at the cornerback position. So you figure that's where the 49ers are going to be looking. Clark wide to the left side. Freddie Solomon is split to the right. First down from the 36. Cooper trying to get outside and picks up good yardage as he reaches the 42-yard line. Randy White making the stop. And we had that first New Orleans-San Francisco game, and we were impressed with Cooper that day, Roger. Cooper runs well. He's a strong runner. He reminds me a little bit of Franco Harris. He's got his feet close to the ground, and he just keeps churning. I think he's maybe has a little bit more speed than Franco. So besides being the fine receiver with 31 catches, he's also an excellent runner. He's number 12 in the NFC in rushing right now. Second down, call it 4. 49ers at their 42-yard line. Tight end Charlie Young is split out wide. They try to hit Young on that play, but Charlie Waters, number 41 of the Cowboys, is up there dogging him. That'll set up a third down and a long 4 needed for the first down. The reason they split Charlie Young out that time, they were trying to get Charlie Waters man-to-man on the tight end and throw the quick out. But that time Charlie had help deep from Dennis Thurman coming over there, so the defense was correct for that play, and it just happened that San Francisco was thrown into a very difficult situation. Cowboys go into a prevent with an extra defensive back. Benny Barnes is in there now, Frank. Flags fly all over the place as the pass is completed to Clark for what would normally be a first down, but there may have been movement on the part of the San Francisco offensive line. Although DeBerg's got to feel a lot better without having to wear that 4 or 5 pound contraption on his back for the last 4 games. This is his first game that he can speak live. I heard that in 4 weeks, so he's happy about it. You were ready to go down there and order 2 hamburgers and fries and a malt from this. It said it sounds like one of those drive-in hamburger stand things. He had some technical difficulties in a couple of those games also. The Benny Barnes was in there. I mentioned that, Frank. He's his first game. He had the appendicitis before the Washington open season game was operated on, so he's back in action for the first time in 6 weeks. Let's get the call here from the referee, Pat Haggerty.
Ball start. Offense.
5 yards against the San Francisco 49ers. That'll move it back to the 36-yard line. Third now, call it 9 for the first down. Clark to the left side, Solomon to the right. And DeBerg, here's a blitz. He gets the pass away and completes it for the first down. Dwight Clark, that pass reception, second-year man from Clemson. Watch the monitor here now. DeBerg's back. He's got both linebackers come. There's Anthony Dickerson, number 51, and he just laid it out. It was Aaron Mitchell with the linebackers coming. He's got to play a little bit loose. See, he doesn't want to get beat deep. He has no help in the middle, so he was playing off, and it was a great play against the blitz. DeBerg read it well and picked out the open receiver. And the 49ers are on the move with a first down at their 48. Their coach Bill Walsh said he expected them to throw 45 passes today. DeBerg over the middle. Cooper dropped it. Had it at the 45 and had another 5 or 10 yards of sailing ahead of him had he been able to hang on to the football. There's Bill Walsh, the head coach of the 49ers and a man much respected throughout the National Football League. He has done a job with this team. Look at this score. Is that an upset in the making if it holds up? That's unusual right there. And we'll pass along other scores throughout the course of the day. That's a big one. Buffalo, keep in mind, the only unbeaten team left in the National Football League. Our score, Dallas 7. San Francisco, nothing. 49ers, 2nd and 10 from their 48. 9 minutes remaining in the opening period. Charlie Young in motion. DeBerg back to throw it. Intercepted. Charlie Waters at the 45, 40, and knocked down at the 37-yard line. Waters timing it just perfectly and stepping in front of the receiver.
Waters, he's looking all the way. He's anticipating this throw. DeBerg's back. He gets a little pressure, and Charlie's right there. He threw the ball right to him.
Hofer, the intended receiver, timeout on the field. We'll be back after this. Dallas Cowboys with the football, 1st and 10 at the San Francisco 37-yard line after the interception by Charlie Waters as the Cowboys try to capitalize on the turnover. Danny White at the throttle. He's thrown at least 2 touchdown passes in each of the last 4 games and already has one this afternoon. Jay Salty, the tight end, in motion. Ron Springs fights his way across the 35 and down to the 33. Well, we were going to have a lot of fun in this football game, figuring Thomas Henderson would be back in town, but it didn't quite work out that way, Roger.
No, he's in Houston. Playing for the Houston Oilers right now.
Haven't heard much from him either, have we?
He's been on the specialty teams down there. Charlie Waters has made 3 big plays this year, and that was the 3rd one. He's got 3 interceptions, so that set up excellent field position here for Dallas.
2nd down 6 from the 33 of San Francisco. Big hole for Springs. Springs to the 20 to the 15-yard line. 1st down, Dallas. Well, I think you were right when you said they were working on the running game this week.
They have really worked hard on it. The Cowboy offensive line is a little bit disappointed over the running last week. That was up the middle, and it was excellent blocking. The Cowboy offensive line is really experienced now. They're an excellent offensive line. Jim Myers does a great job with them, and they have a lot of pride in the running game especially. They've done a good job pass blocking also.
1st and 10 from the 49er 15. White on the delay gives to Dorsett. He gets a yard to the 14. These 2 clubs met last year, as you very well recall, and the 49ers gave you everything you can handle out there, Roger.
49ers had us in the second half.
Took a safety there near the end by Harvey Martin to give you 8 points.
Very close. It went right down to the wire. The 49ers offense this year is number 1. Their defense is overall number 12. So that's the area they're trying to beef up right now is the 49er defense.
Well, they've got the worst pass defense in the entire league. 2nd and 9. Ron Springs wrapped up in the arms of defensive end Lawrence Pillars. Number 65 after a pickup of a yard or so to the 13-yard line.
Pillars came down the line of scrimmage and read that play all the way. He was a few weeks back, he was playing with the Jets against the 49ers. The next week, he was playing with the 49ers. So
you never know.
He's gone from coast to coast this year.
3rd down, still 8 needed for the 1st down. Dallas from the 13, make it the 14-yard line of San Francisco.
Watch the play action pass down here, Frank. They like to play action.
That's what it looks to be. Over the middle, touchdown. Salty is at the 1-yard line. I thought he was in, but a hard driving tackle by Ricky Churchman, number 33, prevented the touchdown.
Danny is back, and he's looking downfield now. He's got Billy Joe just turns out, and he's about a foot short. Ricky Churchman makes a nice play on stopping the touchdown, but Billy Joe had an option to turn in or out on that play, and he turned out and was a yard in front of Ricky Churchman, made a great play, set up the 1st down. And
for the record, that was play action, was it not?
Well, there wasn't really a fake of a run that time very much, but it was a pass play. I was half right.
A lot of movement prior to the snap as Ron Springs takes the handoff and goes into the end zone. Let's see who the penalty was against. If it's against the 49ers, obviously it'll be declined, and it'll be a touchdown. And it is. Touchdown, Dallas. Springs, one of the more sure-handed ball carriers you'll ever find. He comes into the ball game today with a streak of 56 carries in a row without a fumble. So he knows how to hang on to the football. Seption with the extra point try. 5 minutes, 48 seconds left to play in the opening period. Cowboys scoring on their first 2 possessions. It's good. So Dallas has gotten untracked offensively with a vengeance here in the first period at Texas Stadium. They lead the 49ers 14-0. Cowboys ready to kick off here in the first period. Deep for the San Francisco 49ers are Owens and Farrell. Owens watching this one sail out of bounds inside the 5-yard line, so Dallas will have to do it over 5 yards deeper. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. So Septian takes the long walk back. Excellent athlete, this young man. Won the NFL racquetball championship this year. Outstanding tennis player. His father was a world-class soccer player back in Mexico. Giants on top of the Eagles as they've added another field goal. That's a halftime score now, and that's a shocker, and you got to believe the Eagles are looking ahead to the Cowboys next week.
Well, that is a real shocker because the Eagles manhandled the Giants a few weeks back. They're playing in New York, and the game is very interesting so far.
Owens at the 2-yard line chases it back into the end zone, and he will down it there for the touchback, and the 49ers will bring it out to the 20. San Francisco needs to get something cranked up here before they get too far behind the way the Cowboys are moving the football. Cowboys looking ahead a bit to next week's game at Philadelphia, which matches the two teams currently tied for first place in the NFC Eastern Division.
I've got to mention that pass that set up that touchdown was caught by Jay Salty instead of Billy Joe Dupree. They're both in and out now. Then between the two of them, they've got 20 catches. So Dallas are using 2 tight ends within their offense, and that was Salty to set up that touchdown.
Both wide receivers off to the left side. Again, we get movement before the ball is snapped. And the 49ers look to be having a little bit of a problem getting things organized here. It's pretty much a veteran offensive line, so you wouldn't think they'd have that much movement.
71.
So the call goes against San Francisco's Keith Fonhorst, the offensive tackle. That's 5 yards and moves it back to the 15. It'll be first down, 15 from that point. Steve DeBerg, of course, former Cowboy rookie, was originally a number 10 draft choice of Dallas. Went down to the last cut with the Cowboys. Penalty marker down as the pass is slapped down either by Too Tall Jones or by Randy White. Cowboys have had a ton of block passes this year.
Jones was the responsible for that one.
We got a holding call coming up against San Francisco. It's really got to disrupt a team when you get off to a shaky start like this offensively.
Well, it does, and on defense also San Francisco had Dallas back in a hole, and they made a couple big plays, and the game got turned around very quickly in that first series. Now San Francisco's offense is
holding
shaky.
number 67, offense.
Ron Singleton, the other tackle, pinned with the holding call. That moves the 49ers back half the distance to the goal to the 8-yard line. First down, 22. Earl Cooper. Hard runner as well as an excellent receiver as he carries it out to the 15-yard line for a pickup of 7 on the play.
Well, he fights for every yard here in this replay here. He really is moving. Keith Farnhorst is out in front of him, but he's still fighting. He's making a lot of it on his own. He cuts inside of D.D. Lewis, and Ed Jones is over there, but he still keeps fighting. D.D. has a second shot at him. Finally brings him down, number 50.
Second down. Now 16 needed for the first down. Officials mark the ball at the San Francisco 14-yard line. DeBerg back to throw it. That's Dwight Clark at the 20, 30, up to the 40-yard line. Mike Hagman had a shot at him, couldn't get him, and finally it was Wilson.
Watch Hagman here, number 58. He's got Dwight Clark. He's got him man-to-man all the way across the field. They bring him in a tight situation, and he makes a great play right here. He keeps going downfield, jukes a couple people, and he gets some extra yardage.
Clark's got an interesting girlfriend.
I asked him about a good-looking guy like that having such a homely girlfriend.
Miss Universe, yes. Miss Universe is my girlfriend, and I hope I can hang on to her there for a little while, you know. But I don't know about the good-looking part. I mean, she can get about anybody she wants. I don't know why she's hanging on me either.
Well, they're both Clemson people, that's why. Hofer on the carry out to the 45, 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd down 5, and Hofer appears to be shaken up on the play. Took a pretty good hit. That's one guy they don't want to use because in addition to his excellent receiving abilities, he's also their top rusher. Average better than 4 yards per carry this year. Timeout on the field here at Texas Stadium. 4:23 left in the opening period. Dallas leading 14-0. Hofer was helped off the field. As you can see, they're looking at his knee. Maybe we can see where he took the lick there. That's always a dangerous situation.
Here he is right here. It's can't really see, but they are looking at his knee right now, and that's a big loss. Paul Hofer is a leader on that offense. He's caught 41 passes. He's a leading rusher, and he's just a fantastic all-around football player.
2nd and 5, 49ers at their 47. The give is to Cooper. Cooper fumbles it. Dallas has recovered at the 49-yard line of the Cowboys. Everything going right for the Cowboys here in the opening period. It looked like Dennis Thurman, number 32, pounced in there.
He's coming inside right here. It's kind of a delay draw. He's coming inside, and D.D. Lewis, number 50, pulls it out of his hand, and Dennis Thurman, number 32, jumps on top of the ball.
Cowboys playing very opportunistic football here in the first period. They get the football with excellent field position again at their own 49-yard line.
Danny White's hit 4 out of 5 for about 88 yards. He's completed his last 4 in a row. They probably start running the ball here.
Springs and Dorsett in the backfield. It is Ron Springs bouncing off a tackler at the line of scrimmage, getting across the 50, and that's about it. 2nd and 8 as Scott Hilton, the middle linebacker, number 55, picks him up.
There was some fierce hitting that time. Scott Hilton is back in the lineup, number 55. He's been out a few weeks, and he plugs up that middle pretty well.
Now Springs comes out limping. Now he's had a bad ankle and has missed considerable action here. Played a little bit last week, didn't play at all the week before, and it looks like the same thing is troubling him again. He was not 100% coming into this game.
Well, I'd say this is the Quisenberry or the Tug McGraw of football here. Robert Newhouse has been a nice relief running back to have, and with number 44's in there right now replacing Ron Springs.
Now you got a Newhouse to back you up. You're in pretty good shape. So Springs is led off the field. Cowboys will have a 2nd and 8 from the 49-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. Drew Pearson wide to the right side. Tony Hill is split to the left. Danny White looking over the defensive alignment. Newhouse, number 44. Dorsett, 33 in the tailback slot. Screen set up to Dorsett at the 50, 45. Has the first down at the 39-yard line of San Francisco.
That was an excellent setup that time. You got number 52. Watch Bobby Leopold, number 52. It's kind of a delay blitz, so a screen is excellent against a blitz as long as you get it off. And he had his lineman out in front of him. Tony Dorsett has Fitzgerald downfield, and he's got Herbert, Scott, and Rafferty, and they do a pretty good job. But he could have got more with a little better blocking, but they still got the first down, and they're now in good field position.
Who's he talking to?
Oh, he's
the man
talking
upstairs.
to Dan Reeves primarily up in the press box.
Nose of the ball just inside the 40. Dorsett. Hole was there for a moment, then he closed as he darted to the outside, reached the 37, pickup of 2 on that play.
Yeah, other than that run by Springs, that inside of that defensive line of San Francisco has been stopping them on first down. They've been in 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, and have done a good job other than the one Springs run up the middle.
Dorsett's figures thus far aren't that impressive, particularly that 3.6 per carry. 2nd and 7. Danny White trapped beyond the 50-yard line on a super rush by Jim Stuckey, number 79, the rookie defensive end who was injured and wasn't even supposed to play in this game.
I tell you, Stuckey did a good job, Frank, and also Archie Reese, number 78, was in there. He gave the initial blur to Danny White that caused Danny to start worrying, and then Stuckey came in and finished off the sack.
Stuckey, of course, is one of 2 number 1 draft picks that the 49ers had, the other being Earl Cooper. as they traded the second pick in the draft to the New York Jets for those two choices, and it's worked out very well. There's a tight end, Charlie Young, former Ram and Philadelphia Eagle. Third down. Cowboys need 20 for the first down. The ball at the 50. From the shotgun. White. Butch Johnson at the 40 down to the 36-yard line of San Francisco. And maybe borderline as far as Septien's range is concerned.
Well, Butch Johnson has done an excellent job. He's had 11 receptions this year. He's the third wide receiver when he comes in on situations, and on third down, he also comes in on the shotgun formations. He went all the way across the field that time, and they were just basically trying to get in better field position because Danny had about 22 yards to go. So they didn't go for the first down. Hopefully Butch, I'm sure, tried to run for it, but it was just a 17-yard play over there.
Danny White in to do the punting. He'll angle it for the far side coffin corner. Still bouncing around, and the Cowboys desperately trying to down it. It finally goes into the end zone. Touchback. Cowboys had 5 white shirts. Looked like they were beating each other to death trying to get to the ball.
There's no complaints there. That was a good call by the officials there. That ball was back in the end zone. It was touched in the end zone.
So the 49ers will get it at the 20-yard line. Hofer has a bruised knee. That's the word we get from the San Francisco sideline. May or may not return. Springs has a problem with that ankle again, but is expected to return. Solomon in motion. DeBerg fires it out to the far sideline. Linville Elliott, number 35, who came in for Hofer, trying to find the handle, doing a little bit of a juggling act there. Elliott, the one-time Cincinnati Bengal.
You know, the philosophy on first down, DeBerg sets up, he looks downfield. If he's got the wide receivers open, he'll take them. But he's got those outlets with the running backs coming underneath the linebackers. If you come off your wide receivers too quick, look to the running backs, of course the linebackers can react quicker. And that time he came back to that running back a little bit quick, and there were people over there to make the play if he would have caught the ball.
34 seconds left to play in the opening period. 2nd and 10, San Francisco from its 20-yard line. Earl Cooper in motion. Blitz is on. Fumble. Loose football at the 13. Who got it? Dallas. That's the third Cowboy turnover in the first period.
Well, Steve DeBerg, number 17, really never got the handle on the ball from the center, and D.D. Lewis got in there before Steve could recover and recovered a fumble. It's been a rough day so far for San Francisco.
If you're the Cowboy quarterback, you got to love what your defense is doing, giving you field position like this.
It's excellent field position. If you're the San Francisco defense, you're not too happy with the offense.
I'm sure you're not. There's DeBerg going to the sidelines. We said he was a number 10 draft pick of the Cowboys. Went down to the final cut. Tom Landry selected Glenn Carano. And cut DeBerg. Carano is now Danny White's backup. 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Cowboys leading 14-0. 29 seconds left to play in the opening period. Tony Dorsett inside the 10 down to about the 8-yard line. Yeah, the 49ers throw it so much. What happened to the old adage about you establish your running game first? They don't pay any attention to that, it seems.
No, they don't, but they use their running backs so well. Hofer's caught 41 passes and Cooper's caught 31, so it's almost as good as a run. They hit those running backs. They go for the percentage passes, and it complements the running game.
Quarter has ended with that last play. And it's been all Dallas Cowboys so far. The Cowboys leading the 49ers 14-0 and driving for a third touchdown at the end of one period at Texas Stadium.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Honda. We're kicking off our season with an all-pro lineup of cars. Honda, we make it simple. And by America's full-service bankers, ready to serve you where you see this symbol.
Frank Lieber with Roger Staubach on a beautiful fall afternoon at Texas Stadium. Cowboys have the football And they are deep in San Francisco territory. They'll have a second, call it 7, from the 8-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, what would you do here? Before I ask you that, take a look at the sprained knee suffered by Paul Hofer.
Yeah, Paul's just a great running back, and I asked him who really was important in his career, and he gave us a good answer to that.
He was very instrumental in my career. He was always there giving me support. He never forced me into playing sports, which I thought was great. I tell you, the guy died the week I was drafted by the 49ers, and they gave me a lot of incentive to make the team and really give everything I had.
And, of course, he was talking about his dad. What do you expect here from the Cowboys?
Well, the Dallas has got 4 wide receivers in there, and, Landry still likes to run the football. He 2nd and 6 down here, and
Springs back in the lineup, and Springs is stacked up behind the line of scrimmage at the 9-yard line. Well, he did run the football.
Yeah, he had the 4 wide receivers. He had Butch Johnson in motion, the same play they threw before on the down and in, so it looked like a pass situation, but they had Johnson leading to that side along with Pat Donovan, the left tackle, and didn't really get very much, but it was a good shot. They're in 3rd and 7 now with pretty much of a pass situation.
It's a very intent Dan Bunz, the 49er linebacker, looking on. Well, ball back now at the 9-yard line. 3rd down. They have to get to the 1-yard line to pick up the first down. So it's 3rd and 8 from the 9. White looking. Ron Springs drops it at the 6. He was being dogged down the field by Willie Harper, number 59.
Well, Harper did an excellent job. That play was to Tony Hill. Tony was running it down and in, and Melvin Morgan came up and knocked Tony off his route. And Danny White then went to the running back, who was Ron Springs, and Willie Harper was right on him, made an excellent defensive play. If he would have caught the ball, it still would have been a field goal situation.
That's not one of your group, is it?
No. Ours are a little bit older than that. We got him from 3 to 14.
It's a future Cowboy cheerleader. Here's Seption. Field goal attempt, 26 yards. Waters to hold. That's a chip shot for him, and it is good. Rafael Seption hits for the Dallas Cowboys. That's 5 out of 6 on the year for Seption. And less than a minute deep in the second period, Cowboys have a 17-point lead. Seption ready to kick off for the Dallas Cowboys. Back deep. James Owens along with Bobby Farrell. This one hooking toward Owens' side. He fields it at the 1-yard line. Out to the 10, 15. He can fly. Stopped just short of the 25. Bill Rowe, the Cowboy rookie linebacker, and their top draft choice, number 3 selection, making the stop. 49ers 1st and 10 from their 25-yard line, and they're down 17 points. Other scores. Baltimore trying to pull off the upset against Buffalo, the only unbeaten team in the league. Just a gorgeous day for football. We had a penalty marker down. We got a little bit of a delay here.
Got an injured 49er down over there also.
Didn't see him over there. That's the reason. I know this is the Cowboys alumni weekend. I imagine the lies flew fast and furious last night at the party, huh?
Well, I tell you, there were some sea stories last night. Guys have gotten better and better through the years.
That's your first alumni weekend.
First alumni weekend before the game. There's also another party after the game tonight with the present players and former players, but the sea stories were really flowing last night. I had a few also.
John Ayers, 49er guard, is the injured player. Appears to be all right, walking off the field under his own power. Bob Lilly will be presented with his Hall of Fame ring at halftime of this ball game today. Bob inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame earlier this year.
Bob looks in great shape. His weight is down from his football playing days, and looks like he could step on the field and play some more.
Solomon to the left side. Owens is now in at a wide receiver for the 49ers. He's wide to the right. On the delay, they go to Cooper. who gets it up to the 29. That's kind of a 49er courtesy run. Every once in a while they throw it in there, mix it in with the passes.
You know what's surprising, though, Frank? Hofer is number 8 rushing in the league. Cooper's number 12. So they do. It's not like San Diego. I don't think San Diego's got a rusher in the top 15 or 20. But San Francisco not only has the fine running backs that catch the ball, but those two guys run with the football also. And right now, of course, they're missing Hofer, and it's a big loss to them.
They're going with a 3 wide receiver attack. Steve DeBerg on 2nd and 5. Waters almost had his second interception. Waters stepping in front of Solomon, again timing it just about perfectly.
Well, I'll tell you what he's doing. All he's doing is looking at the eyes of the quarterback, and Steve DeBerg is looking right out there at his receiver. Look at him. He's looking downfield. He has pressure from Randy White, but he's looking at Solomon all the way, and Waters is back in his zone, just reacting off the quarterback's look, and he's going to have to be looking a little bit to the other side when he comes back in those turn-ins. The last interception, he was trying to drill it into Hofer, and Waters again reacted, and this time he was going to Freddie Solomon.
DeBerg is now 3 out of 8 for 51 yards. How fast do you think they'd come in with Montana?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Steve DeBerg is an excellent quarterback, and I'm not going to second-guess the coach on that, but last week they came in fairly quickly with him.
Sideline throw. James Owens, the intended receiver, jarred by Steve Wilson. And the ball popping loose. And it's 1-2-3 kick for San Francisco.
Well, Wilson was in again in that rotating zone where the cornerback comes up. He's got safety help, so he can take a chance on those short routes to the back or the short routes to the wide receiver. So he was up in good position knowing he had help, and he could gamble on those quick short passes. And that was a good time to gamble with it because they were going for the first down.
Jim Miller, beautiful kick, driving James Jones back inside his 20. Fields it at the 16, up to the 20, 25, 30, and forward to the 33-yard line. Fairly decent return. Jim Miller, the #1 punter in college football last year and 3rd-round draft choice for the 49ers, and worth the pick, authoring an excellent punt. Timeout, back after this. Long afternoon so far for Bill Walsh's San Francisco 49ers, but give him time because you can see it coming.
I think there's an air about Bill Walsh that breeds success, and it's going to take some time. They're going to have to get some people. They lost Dwayne Board, their best defensive man. They can't afford losses like that, but he's going to make this team a winner.
Cowboys 1st and 10 from their 33-yard line after the 55-yard punt by Miller. Robert Newhouse over the left side crashes out to the 39-yard line. Pick up 5-6 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down 4. Danny White checking it out. That's not what he's checking out. Pictures can be misleading at times.
That score right there. I'll tell you, this is a wacky world of football.
It really is. You're going to tell me that Cincinnati's going to beat Pittsburgh twice in 1 year? 2nd down, called it 5 for the first down from the 38. Dorsett trying to get outside, dips back in and is close to the first down marker. That'll be at the 44-yard line. Scott Hilton, number 55, the middle linebacker, makes the stop. Scott has been injured last 3-4 games, and I'm sure the 49ers happy to have him in there. He's an interesting story because he didn't play college football. Became a carpenter out of high school and played some minor league football, got a tryout from the Eagles and was let go. And the 49ers picked him up, and he has won that starting middle linebacker job. Measurement necessary. It's about as close as you can get. First down by a tip of the football. Dallas leading 17-0, 12 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the first half. You know, if White keeps up this pace, he's going to wind up ahead of your all-time 62%, I think it is, season percentage record. And it will be Roger who? Newhouse. One thing he showed there was awfully quick feet. Did you notice that as he got past the line of scrimmage, did a little dance and escaped a couple tacklers?
Well, House is a bowling ball type runner. When he's healthy, he has got quick feet. He's right here. He moves. He gives a couple of jukes right there. And Melvin Morgan got lost and took some help from the secondary and also Bobby Leopold to bring him down. But Robert Newhouse is tough to bring down. The only thing that's hurt Robert the last couple of years, he broke his leg up in St. Louis, a bone in the bottom of his leg, and this is his first completely healthy season in 2 years.
2nd and 4. Ball is at the 50-yard line. Fake to Dorsett. White back to throw it. Short of the intended receiver, and White was hit late. We got a flag down. Number 78, Archie Reese, is going to be flagged for roughing the passer.
Well, that was an excellent defensive play on San Francisco's part, and Archie Reese negated it.
And moves it down to the 35.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 78. First down.
So the Cowboys now have a first down at the San Francisco 35. When things go wrong, they go wrong. There's the figures on Danny White so far. That's not bad percentage for less than a half of football. 1 touchdown pass. That's Drew Pearson on the first drive. For another first down at the 24.
Well, that's the perfect play action pass. He had the I formation, the two backs behind each other, and he fakes here and holds the linebackers. Of course, he's got a blitz coming also, so it's even better. He drills it out to Tony Hill all the way. The play action fake is to hold the linebackers, but they blitzed, and of course you have a great play on a blitz. There's nobody in the middle, so that cornerback, that defensive back, has got to worry about the middle. So anything to the sideline's a great play, and they just had the right play against the right defense.
Nose of the football spotted just inside the 25. Let's listen to White call the signals. Dorsett up the middle, down to about the 22-yard line.
Well, Dallas has seen something on film. They're going after the middle of that San Francisco 49er defensive line, but they're not getting very much.
Jay Saldi, one of the messenger tight ends. Billy Joe calls it the Federal Express, is the way he refers to the messenger system of the Dallas Cowboys. Pickup of 2 on the play.
Cowboys have alternated guards, wide receivers, and now tight ends.
How about quarterbacks? I remember that.
Quarterbacks 1 year and 1 game, and that was like 2 ships passing the night as we went on off the field.
2nd and 8.
Here they come. They're all coming, and you got the
Drew Pearson, touchdown! Drew Pearson scores his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
That gets Drew. That gets his mood upbeat. He's going into the game and not caught very many passes. He had 1 touchdown, and he's been a little bit unhappy. But today they have the blitz. They got the perfect play on because, again, the middle of the field is vulnerable. Melvin Morgan has to worry about it, so he lets the outside open. Drew makes the fake to the middle, goes back to the corner, and makes a nice play. And Morgan almost recovered, but it wasn't close enough.
Charlie Waters will hold, and Septien with the extra point try with 10 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the first half of play. It's good. So things are looking comfortable for the Dallas Cowboys. Midway in the second period, Cowboys leading the 49ers 24-0. Robert Newhouse requiring a little equipment repair on the Cowboys sidelines. Dallas leading 24-0. Yeah, you've got that crazy sunshade pattern here at Texas Stadium, which is murder on television cameras. James Owens at the 3-yard line, out to the 10, 15, 20. Oh, he really does fly up the middle. Dropped at the 31-yard line. Is that much of a factor for the players on the field going from sun to shade or vice versa, Roger?
It is a factor primarily for the receivers if they get the wrong angle, and also the people returning punts. It gets difficult, but other than that, it's not too bad. You get used to it. But a new team coming in, it's a little bit more difficult. And there's the man right there, Mr. Clutch through the years. Drew Pearson is now coming into stride this season. He's kind of been a decoy in the passing game, but he's going to be there when it's all over. And today he's having an excellent game.
We had people all over the place prior to the snap of the ball, penalty markers falling everywhere, and DeBerg wondering what in the world is going on.
Well, Ed Jones over on that left side has a head start right there, and he just keeps barreling in on Steve DeBerg. Didi Lewis is also there. Either he was drawn off sides or he went off on his own. The referees say he went off on his own.
5 yards being marked off against the Cowboys for offside. We'll move it out to the 37-yard line.
Well, it's scary to have Ed Jones coming on your back. Boy.
Offside. Defense.
Does that hurt?
Yeah, try to explain to Ed as he's coming in. You're offside, Ed. You're offside. Trying to reach midfield, push back just shy of the 50-yard line. Officials will mark it on the 48, and that'll be enough for a San Francisco first down.
It was a good play by Steve DeBerg. Didi Lewis shifted out from his linebacker position on top of Clark, and Clark made a good move at the line of scrimmage, and Didi didn't touch him, which that's what he's supposed to do, and he got inside, and there was nobody there, and DeBerg hit him nicely. He had the option between Dwight Clark and the running back, and he picked out the right guy.
Harvey Martin checks out of the Cowboy lineup, and Bruce Thornton is in. Martin has missed the last 2 games with a deep thigh bruise. First and 10, 49ers at their 48. Again, we get a flag. DeBerg unloads long for Clark. He's got him, and that's a touchdown.
Looks good right there, boy, I tell you.
Wait for the penalty call here. There was a flag thrown at the line of scrimmage.
That's Randy White was offsides that time.
It's a touchdown.
Number 54.
San Francisco scores.
I tell you, Clark ran right by everybody. Dennis Thurman, who's the weak safety, number 32, and Aaron Mitchell, who's the cornerback that time, number 34, had good position initially. DeBerg threw an excellent pass. He led him deep, and Clark showed some speed, and he got behind Thurman, 32, and inside of Aaron Mitchell, number 34, and it was a picture-perfect play.
Wersing on to try the extra point, and Joe Montana will hold. 9:07 left in the first half, but boy, do the 49ers need that to prevent possibly being completely blown out here. 53-yard touchdown pass, and the extra point try is good. Takes it a 24-7 game, and Clark 3 catches now for 50-odd yards. And the 49ers could make this a ball game if DeBerg keeps throwing like that. Clark has really been impressive.
Yeah, there's Randy White jumping a little bit. He's got Bruce Thornton jumping with him. DeBerg's back in the pocket, and he's throwing almost off of his back foot. He's got a strong arm. He got a lot into that ball. He led Clark right on the money, and Clark did his job getting behind Dennis Thurman.
How about that? Speed and pass-catching ability and Miss Universe, too. You talk about having everything?
Not a bad combination.
Cowboys have given up just 2 touchdown passes on the year. They gave one up against Tampa Bay to Jimmy Giles, and that is the second one. So the Cowboy defense, pass defense, despite the inexperience and the injuries in the secondary, have done very well.
Dallas's defense is 8th overall. They've given up a lot of yardage, and that's how they grade your standings. But they haven't given up many touchdowns. I guess you could say they have bended a bit, but they haven't broken.
I've heard that somewhere.
Teams have gotten close to the goal line, so that was a big play for San Francisco. And San Francisco's got the capabilities of scoring some points. So this game isn't over by any means.
James Jones is the deep man. The rookie from Mississippi State, from the 5 back to the 15, 20, and out to the 22-yard line. And touchdown by the Cowboys was only the second that they have allowed in the last 12 quarters. Harvey Martin on the right of your screen there, and Robert Newhouse on the left looking on. Didn't take them long, did it? 2 plays to cover 68 yards and not much possession time. 24-7 is where it stands. Cowboys leading the 49ers with 8 minutes and 58 seconds left to play in the first half. Clark now with 5 catches for 114 yards. Danny White at the throttle of the Cowboy Express. And around Tony Hill. 20, 25, 30. to the 37-yard line, a pickup of 15 yards and a Dallas first down.
Here's the reverse. This time it's a fake the handoff right here off tackle, handoff to Tony Hill. Watch number 68, Herb Scott. Look at him out in front of the play right here, and he's the man that makes the defensive back bury, and he lands right on top of him, gets Tony Hill another 3 or 4 yards. Number 67, Pat Donovan, is out with his big body trying to knock some people down. So it was set up well, and it was good blocking by the offensive line.
1st and 10, Cowboys at their 38-yard line. Draw to Springs. Springs finds some running room and gets out to the 43. Did you used to do nice things for your offensive line, like take them out to dinner and things of that sort?
I used to be extra nice to them and provided them opportunities to dine out on me. We couldn't get everybody together at the same time, but the offensive line is pretty darn important to everybody, and Dallas's offensive line is now maturing into a really top-notch unit.
2nd down, 5 from the 43. Dorsett out to the 46-yard line. He's a couple shy of the first down. The ball was wrestled loose, but after the whistle had blown. Keena Turner, number 58, rookie linebacker for the 49ers, made the stop. 49ers drafted 4 linebackers this year and kept 3. Bobby Leopold wound up a starter. It's one of the reasons that Thomas Henderson is now in Houston. 3rd down, Dallas needs 2 for the first down. Cowboys at their own 45, leading 24-7 midway in the 2nd period. White, another reception. This one to Ron Springs for the first down at the 49-yard line. Charlie Waters, a little confab there with Gene Stallings, the defensive backfield coach.
Danny takes what he can get. He knows it's 3rd and 3. He wants to go for the first down. He's looking downfield just briefly. Then he throws out to Ron Springs, and Scott Hilton is on top of him, but not in time to stop the first down.
It's now 9 out of 11 for Danny White and 148 yards. And a first down for the Cowboys at their 48. Dorsett into San Francisco territory to the 45-yard line, stopped by Dwight Hicks, number 22, who came up from the secondary. You've had an opportunity now to watch White for several football games. How would you compare Danny to yourself? Is that different?
That's difficult. We have somewhat different styles. Danny White was a great quarterback at Arizona State. He was he was a big play type quarterback. He spent 2 years in the World Football League and 4 years here, so he's mature. He's got winner's instincts about him. Here we've got the penalty
use of
right
the hands, number 88, offense.
Drew Pearson gets a holding call.
So he's got a previous history of success. He's got winner's instincts. The players believe in him, and he's produced this year above and beyond anything that you could expect of a young guy. And he's probably right now playing as well as any quarterback in the National Football League.
That is a very big point there. He has winner's instincts. There is something, isn't there, about a player?
He's got a charisma about him.
First down, 15. Rich Johnson is the man in motion. White feeds the ball to Springs, and Springs trying to reach the 50-yard line. They're short of that mark.
You know, one thing's interesting about Danny, his father was a great football player at Arizona State, and they called him Whizzer White, but it's not the Supreme Court justice. He also played professional football, and we nicknamed Danny the Whiz also. He's Whizzer White, but it's not. He's not the son of the Supreme Court justice, but the son of a great athlete in his own right from Arizona State.
Bill Rowe, Cowboy rookie linebacker. 2nd and 9 from midfield. White, Tony Hill. Oh, he's eating Hicks up over there. Out of bounds at the 31, first down. He's having a field day.
Well, Tony's on a deep sideline route. This is a mark of a quarterback to get it out to the sideline. It's a difficult throw. It's a long ways, and he lays it in there. Tony Hill makes a good move, and has got another first down.
Word from the 49er bench, it's doubtful that Hofer will be back. He has now what is diagnosed as a sprained knee, and John Ayers, the offensive lineman, has a bruised thigh. Also doubtful as to whether or not we'll see him. First and 10, Cowboys at the 31-yard line of San Francisco. Hit screen to Hill. Hill shakes a tackle, but can't shake the second one, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Had he been able to get away from Pillars, number 65, he could have gone a place.
Well, this was a quick screen out there. San Francisco had the right defense on. Melvin Morgan, number 46, came up to the short area. He had help deep, so he was there. He forced the play immediately and made it a difficult play. And the linemen are looking back right now. They missed Morgan, so the play was broken, and of course Pillars cleaned up on it. But it was stopped by Morgan's initial thrust because of the defense that San Francisco was in. It was a tough defense to throw a quick screen on.
Loss of a half yard on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 11. Look at those statistics on White.
It's not bad.
Since we're still in the first half. Delayed to Dorsett, and Tony is having his problems again getting loose. 49ers drop him at the 34. That's Archie Reese, number 78. On the stop.
49ers have done an excellent job against the run. They're, of course, overall league-wide, they're 4th against the rush, but that's deceiving because teams have thrown so well in San Francisco. They're 14th against the pass, but today they've held Dallas, even though Dallas has 24 points. That hasn't been from running the football at will.
Springs is 29 yards rushing, and so does Dorsett. Both of them come out of the lineup on this play. 3rd down, 13.
They've got all their wide receivers in there, along with Jay Salty.
Shotgun.
Great protection. Good protection. You got to have somebody there.
Fine catch by Butch Johnson, who had to reach back for that one. That pass was not exactly on the money, but Johnson showed again what a fine receiver he is, and many people say he could be starting for most people in this league.
He's short of the first down about 2 yards.
Look at that feather.
He's got a feather in his sock. He says he
likes to fly like a bird.
Likes to fly like a bird, and he's got that in there for good luck, and he's been flying like a bird this season.
4th down. Septian will attempt a 40-yard field goal. Waters to hold. It's long enough. It is no good. Septian missing. Off to the right and the distance. Time out of the field with 3:34 left to play in the first half, and the Cowboys leading 24-7. Well, it's obvious somebody woke up the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, they've come back. They've had their troubles in New York. Here's Cincinnati now has still got a 1-point lead over Pittsburgh, and LA's got St. Louis. That's a big game for both teams.
1st and 10, 49ers at their 23-yard line after the misfire of the field goal attempt by Septian. Big rush by Harvey Martin. DeBerg tries to throw it. Gets it away, but at the feet of Earl Cooper, the intended receiver. Cooper, the big fellow, number 49, who played his college football in the Southwest Conference at Rice last year. I was afraid he might be overlooked in the draft because of Rice's poor record. In fact, Cooper is a Texas boy from a little town called Lexington, Texas. Robert Newhouse contemplating on the sidelines. Second and 10. DeBerg is now 5 out of 12 for 114 yards. Harvey Martin. Ball is loose. Dallas recovers the fumble. Another big turnover. I believe it was, well, Randy White was over there. So was Too Tall Jones. I believe Too Tall got the football, but Harvey Martin.
Watch Harvey, number 79. He comes right around the corner on Ron Singleton, and it's just a perfect pass rush. His quickness and speed got him around the corner. On the play before, he almost made a play, but DeBerg stepped up in the pocket. This time, Harvey was there too quick and caused the fumble, and got the trap, and Dallas has the football.
Oh, misery, says Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh does not like that.
Now the turnovers are killing the 49ers.
That, and you got a guy like Hofer out of there, 24-7. Dallas is anticipating pass, so their pass rush is going to be tough the rest of the day.
First down, Cowboys on the San Francisco 14-yard line. Ron Springs trying to squeeze through a little opening. That's maybe a yard or so to the 13-yard line. Notice on that fumble recovery, Too Tall wanted to get up and run. Imagine he gets up and gets a head of steam. Nobody's going to get in his way.
Well, Dutton intercepted that pass last week, so Too Tall was a little bit jealous. You know, Jim Stuckey's in there, their #1 draft choice, and again, San Francisco's knocking Dallas back on the inside of that offensive line. Their defense is pushing them across, and then Dallas is getting nothing in the middle of the line.
49ers defending the run very well. Officials mark that ball back at the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd and 10 from the 14-yard line. Danny White on the rollout. Springs at the 10, at the 5. Ron Springs is down to the 2-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Cowboys.
That was a play-action pass. Danny fakes. Springs is out in the flat. He fakes here to the halfback. And they had a misassignment right there. Springs looked like he went outside instead of underneath, and Danny still picked him up out in the flat.
Hicks comes over, throws the rolling block into him. For White, that is now 13 out of 15, but nobody's perfect.
Springs and Dorsett had some confusion in the backfield that time, but Springs still went out in the flat, and Danny hit him in good shape.
1st and goal from the 2-yard line. We've got the 2-minute warning. Clock has run down to exactly 2 minutes left to play in the first half here at Texas Stadium. It's been a very lovely afternoon thus far for the Dallas Cowboys as they lead the San Francisco 49ers 24-7. Dallas knocking on the door once again. First down, goal to go from the 2-yard line with 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Too Tall Jones on the sideline, adding a little extra padding. Ron Springs, number 20, Tony Dorsett, number 33 in the backfield behind Danny White. Dorsett going outside, heading for the flag. He is over.
That's his speed right there. He got outside. There's no way he should have scored on that, but with his quickness and speed, once he got around Scott Hilton, boy, he went into that corner like a rocket, stayed in bounds. Dorsett has got the sprinter speed. Watch him here. Scott Hilton is chasing him down. The play's broken right here. It's Herb Scott forces Tony deep by his block, and there's Hilton. He gets around Hilton, and he still has the angle here, but his speed got him in the end zone, and that's when it's nice to get outside when you have that kind of speed.
That's the longest 2-yard touchdown run he'll ever make, I'll tell you that. Extra point try by Septien. She'll make it 31-7. 1 minute, 55 seconds left to play in the first half. Cowboy fans, capacity crowd of 65,000 enjoying it thoroughly as Tony Dorsett picks up the touchdown. TD has 31 yards rushing on 11 carries. So the 49ers can say that they've contained the Dallas ground game very well, but upstairs it's been a different story because White is 13 out of 15 for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tom Landry on the sidelines, of course, confers with Dan Reeves, his offensive coordinator, up in the press box. On every play, on the play selection. Reeves called the plays during preseason. But you were pretty well aware of the fact that when regular season started, he'd be calling them again.
Well, Dan Reeves is really a brilliant offensive coach. He understands the game very well. He's been Landry trained, and Dan has got a lot of authority on the Cowboys now. And he did call them in preseason. They discuss things, and Dan's suggestions that have a greater impact, but Landry still calls the play, and he's along with Bill Walsh, both head coaches on these teams call the plays.
James Owens on the kickoff return breaks it out to the 25, up to the 30-yard line, and we get a penalty marker. Flag is thrown. It'll be a clip against the 49ers. I think the 49ers are ready to go to the locker room for halftime and regroup. Turnovers have hurt. When you only have to go 14 yards for a touchdown, obviously you're in pretty good shape.
Well, the turnovers have killed them. Also, the first drive Dallas was backed up and came through with about 2 or 3 big plays, especially off that shotgun fumble. And they've had control of the game since.
Personal foul, Clipping on the return, number 57, offense.
Dan Bunge, the linebacker, guilty of the clip, moves the 49ers back to the 13-yard line. One touchdown for the 49ers on a long bomb from DeBerg to Dwight Clark. That's been pretty well the extent of their offense. Steve DeBerg almost picked off by D.D. Lewis. Intended for Cooper. Cooper's been held in check pretty well as far as a receiver is concerned this afternoon.
He has. He dropped one earlier. He was wide open, but he has been controlled pretty well by the Dallas linebackers. That time, Bob Bruning was following him across the field. D.D. again was back in his zone looking at the quarterback, and he came up to help Bruning and pretty well had Cooper sandwiched that time.
49ers offense, which has given up the football 4 times. 4 big turnovers for the Cowboys. Most of them turned into points. 31-7. A minute 44 left in the half. Second down 10. DeBerg inside the 5. Randy White almost had him. Forced him to rush the throw over the head of the intended receiver, Freddie Solomon, out at the 25-yard line at the near sideline. Aaron Mitchell was over there protecting him.
Solomon was wide open over there. He was just standing on the sidelines. DeBerg saw him, but the pressure by Randy White caused the bad throw.
You can see the problems DeBerg has had, and of course a lot of pressure by that Cowboy front 4.
Most of that yardage is on that Dwight Clark big play.
Normally he gets the high percentage because he goes so much to the backs. But even today his percentage is less than 33. Or right at 33. 3rd and 10. DeBerg looking for a first down here. Floats it out, intended for Linville Elliott at the 35-yard line. Threw that before Elliott made his break. Bill Welch wasn't happy with that at all.
The strategy changes a great deal, Frank. When you get behind like San Francisco has, it's tough to pick and hit your backs the way you want to because you have a lot more pressure. That Dallas defensive line now, even though they know San Francisco throws a lot, they still have to respect the run. Right now, they're coming like gangbusters.
There's an unusual angle to see Jim Miller punt from.
Barefooted.
James Jones at the 42, back to the 50, 45, inside the 35-yard line.
I think he was knocked down by his own man.
He's still running.
Well, someone told him. I think Dennis Thurman said, hey, Steve Wilson knocked you down. He did. He got up and took off again.
They'll bring it back to where he went down originally, which is at the 36-yard line. I'll tell you, Jones is something else. Watch this return again and watch where he gets hit originally by his own man.
Looks like his own man knocked him down. And then Dennis Thurman told him about it. Right here, Steve Wilson knocks him down.
Yeah.
And
get up, you can go some more, right?
See if we can get Dennis coming over here to whisper in his ear. But
1st and 10. Cowboys at the 36-yard line of San Francisco. Danny White out of the hands of Tony Dorsett at the 30-yard line. I would say at this point that if the Cowboys score again, we could all take the rest of the afternoon off.
Well, Melvin Morgan did a good job, number 46. He was up in the short area, and as he saw Dorsett coming to the sideline and hooking up, he was inside real quick, and I'm sure Dorsett saw him and took his eyes off the football.
2nd and 10. White sending Tony Hill wide to the left. He's got Drew Pearson flanked to the right, and Jay Saldi in the slot from the shotgun. Sideline throw. Well, White had completed 6 in a row, missed one, completed 7 in a row, and now he's missed that pass, which gives him a 13 out of 16 mark on the afternoon. It'll be 3rd down as Hill comes back to the huddle. Now, Hill will talk to you in the huddle, will he not? Tony will have a few things to say about being open.
He'll tell you he's open every play. But I tell you, he makes a lot of big plays.
Is he the most talkative guy you encounter in the huddle?
Tony is an interesting guy. He's very smart. He's got a good feel for the offense, and he does like to talk and tell you what's going on. He loves to get the football.
3rd and 10 for the Cowboys at the San Francisco 36. White, all the time in the world. Speaking of Tony Hill. Well, total embarrassment for the Thrill. That'll kill him.
Tell you what happened on that.
Easy.
Again, the Perry was in there. Number 32 comes in their special defense on 3rd down. They bring in an extra back and take out a linebacker, and he went in with Dorsett, and Hill just turned out on the sideline. Danny read it perfectly. He looked at Dorsett and came late to Hill, and maybe Tony didn't know he was coming to him because he was surprised and dropped the football.
Danny White punting for only the 2nd time this afternoon. His first punt traveled 36 yards. 1 minute 4 seconds left to play in the first half. Well, it's a fake. White trying to pick up the first down, winds up kicking it anyway, and the 49ers fumble it back to the Cowboys. Cowboys wind up with the football. Look at this.
I'm not seeing this, am I?
I don't believe it either.
Huh?
Let's see what they decide to do here.
Well, Danny had a long ways to go. He was 4th and 10, but he was going to go for it. He was in plus territory, a minute to go, so that's heads-up play on his part. He then goes to the side, sees he can't make it, punts the ball right here, and then it begins. Frickin' frack. Drops the ball. Cowboys pick it up. I don't know. It looks like a good play. The whistle might have blown, but he's not down. I guess he's down. His momentum. They must have called his momentum stop right there.
I'm trying to figure out who's got the football.
Well, they're both fighting for it. No, it's mine. Well, I'll tell you, there's been some crazy plays in this first half.
Clink Scales wound up with the football. Officials said it was whistled dead in Dallas possession at the 17-yard line. So the Cowboys will have a 1st and 10. White looking for 6, going for Dorsett. He was out of bounds. No good.
I'll tell you one thing, that last play won't be on the 49er highlight film.
It'll make the football follies real, though, for sure.
That was crazy. Tell you, Dorsett, that was just a out and go. It was off of a play action pass. Dorsett went out in the flat and broke deep to the sideline, and he was covered pretty well. Bobby Leopold was down there, and he still caught the ball step out of bounds.
Getting back to White's situation, of course, you can punt the football anytime you're behind the line of scrimmage. Doesn't make any difference how long you run around back there.
Well, he's smart, too. Danny knows where he is on the field, and a punt doesn't help him that much anyway, so he took a gamble, and if it didn't work, it still wouldn't have been that bad.
2nd and 10. White still wants 6. Drew Pearson, 3rd touchdown catch of the day.
What a day for Drew Pearson. And he needs a day mentally. It hurts the 49ers, but Drew Pearson has made 3 touchdown catches today. It's just a post route to the middle of the field. Danny's looking downfield and drills it in. He's got Melvin Morgan beat to the inside. The ball's on target, and Pearson gets it, spikes it, throws it to the stands.
A happy day for Drew Pearson, who has not seen the football that much this year, but he is certainly making up for it this afternoon. Pearson with 3 touchdown catches. White now is 14 out of 20 for 206 yards. All of Pearson's catches have gone for touchdowns. Extra point try by Septien is good. And the Cowboys have vaulted to a 38-7 lead with 40 seconds remaining in the first half of play. We get an opportunity here. We're going to look at that punt again and follow this whole situation for you. That's got to be one of the wackiest plays in the NFL this year. Watch
there was a minute to go. White punts from here. It doesn't really help him that much anyway. They're on about the 35, so he decided to gamble to run the ball, and if he gets trapped, it's no big loss. He's at least down to the 40. Then he sees he's not going to make it. He decides to punt, and the ball's just dropped right there. Freddie Solomon, number 88, dropped the ball. It's picked up by Dallas. It's whistled dead right there. But now grabbing onto the football, it's Cosby, number 84, and Solomon, number 46.
Is it Solomon? But the officials rule it dead on the 17-yard line where I think Bruni got it originally.
You know, Drew Pearson caught 3 last year against the New York Giants. So this ties his career high at TD catches in one game. He caught 3 today. He's caught 3 today also.
By the Cowboys, and Eason Ranson, the tight end, comes up with it for the 49ers, returns it out to the 35-yard line. 34 seconds left to play. First half. We figured there'd be a lot of points scored today, but we figured they'd be a little more evenly divided.
Well, Bill Walsh, the big fear you have, you go against a team like Dallas and your defense is coming off of a tough game like Los Angeles. You fear the mistakes, the turnovers. Turnovers can really kill you, especially when your defense is not playing the way it should in the passing game. And Dallas has taken advantage of the turnovers, and that's made the difference.
5 turnovers by the 49ers. Last one, of course, chalked up to the kicking team. Dwight Clark makes the reception for the first down, but certainly pays for it as Charlie Waters comes up with a big hit at the 46-yard line. You know, Waters' knee seems to be getting stronger every week now, isn't it?
Well, he's still having trouble with his knee. He's just got the instincts of a experienced defensive back. He's been in the right place at the right time this year. His interceptions have all been key interceptions. The one up he had in Washington and a one against Tampa Bay. So he's still back in that secondary with his experience. His knee is getting stronger, but he's still not happy with his knee so far.
Al DeBerg doesn't look like the happiest man in the world. Been a rough half for him.
Well, it's tough when you have the mistakes the 49ers have. You're down, but you've got to regroup. You've got to try to improve the second half, get some positive signs going in the second half so it can carry on into next week. Right now, they're in trouble as far as this game's concerned. But again, it's one game, and they don't make the mistakes next week, and they can turn it around because they've got the character so far this year. They're 3-2, so they've won some football games. They know how to win. And today is just a rough one.
They've won their first 3, of course, lost their last 2. This will be a 3-game losing streak if this continues. Charlie Young, the tight end, in motion. DeBerg wants to put some points on the board and almost picked off, and it is. Anthony Dickerson, rookie linebacker, at the 30-yard line, out to the 35, and the 49ers have turned over the football for the 6th time in the first half.
Charlie Waters, watch, DeBerg is back, and he's just throwing, hoping to get into a situation where he can throw a few in the end zone. So he's throwing downfield, but the ball's tipped right here by Charlie Waters. It really causes the interception. Knocks it back. Champ Dickerson's right there. Tony Dickerson catches the ball, and
back to the 35.
14 seconds to go, so Dallas will probably run it out now.
6 turnovers in one half. You remember playing in a football game where you were 31 down at halftime?
No. No.
That wouldn't be much fun going to the locker room, would it? Dorsett. That's his longest gainer of the day, I believe.
He's got about 10 yards in that one.
Got to the 46-yard line. Been a rough year for Dorsett, whose longest run from scrimmage has been 20. That'll do it. Big roar from this partisan Cowboy crowd. Obviously, they like what they've seen. Opportunistic defense. Outstanding passing game engineered by Danny White. All adding up to a 38-7 lead here at halftime at Texas Stadium. 3 touchdown catches so far from Drew Pearson. Halftime here at Texas Stadium. Cowboys 38, the 49ers 7.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. The 3 best teams in the NFC may now be the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Look at how the Eagles came back on the New York Giants after an early fumble by Giamona. He has now scored 2 touchdowns, and the Eagles are dominating the Giants in the 4th period. Meanwhile, Buffalo about to fall from the unbeaten ranks as they trail the Colts and Burt Jones 17-9 in the 4th. Jones went 38 yards to Ciani for a touchdown. Green Bay hanging tough in Florida. They lead the Buccaneers 14-7 in the 4th. Dickey 6 yards to Paul Kaufman in that game. Cincinnati hanging on to a 1-point lead over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has won 18 straight games at home, but quarterback Kenny Anderson has been injured for the Bengals. He was just taken off the field on a stretcher. Miami tried, struck. He came up short. Went to Woodley. Greasy couldn't play because of an injury. And New England leading 27-0 in the fourth. Grogan went 33 yards to Harold Jackson. Kavanaugh threw a touchdown pass to Russ Francis, and Grogan is now being rested. He is not hurt. Minnesota clinging to a 3-0 lead on Chicago. That game is at the half. And, of course, many of you are watching the Rams over St. Louis. 14-0. Vince Ferragamo, 9 yards to Willie Miller, and Ferragamo a 4-yard run. And there it is, the Dallas Cowboys. Danny White can do it. He has hit Drew Pearson for 3 touchdowns, 16, 22, and 17 yards. And you know, most of the college football we look at this broadcast involves the big-time schools with elaborate facilities, schedules so demanding that they sometimes produce young men who are athletes before they are students. But this week, Irv takes a look at the New England Football Conference and a school that is oceans away from that sort of thing.
Prior to the opening of football season, most head coaches are asked to give a forecast of the upcoming year. How many games are you going to win? How strong is the running game? Of course, these questions are all important. But at Massachusetts Maritime Academy, there's a consideration even greater, because over half the football team is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. More exactly, 42 varsity players are undergoing sea training aboard the Academy's training ship, the Bay State. Players even attending classes have some coaches baying at the moon. But every Massachusetts Maritime student must complete a 60-day training cruise to help qualify for his Merchant Marine Officer's license. This cruise was to have ended before the season started, but mechanical problems scuttled that.
Time out there, give him some time. Pick him up, pick him up!
It's very hard to explain, but it was almost like a part of me was on board the ship when it left on September 6th, because we do have a small college program. We do get very close to our players, and as a matter of fact, the atmosphere on campus is one of very closeness between the faculty and all of the cadets on campus.
Thinking about those 42 ball players out to sea, do they have a special training program of some kind to maintain while they're out to sea?
Yes, they do. The players on board the ship work out on the Universal Gym, and that is the weight aspect of the program. They also do some running, which is in the ladder well aboard the ship. And on our stadium deck, we get involved with agility drills. We work on quickness, and we do a number of drills that emphasize quick feet on this type of setting.
Sea legs, rather than Charlie horses, plagued the team's coordinator aboard ship.
During our first workout, I counted heads, and I noticed that one of our top defensive players was not there. He showed up halfway through the workout and looking a bit green, and he took me aside and said, "Coach, I can't participate." And I said, "What's the problem?" I fear that he might tell me he's not going to do football this year or something. But he said very, very confidentially that he was seasick, first time on a ship, and please not to tell the rest of the people.
Green, and not from seasickness, were the 33 freshmen making up the core of the team. After being torpedoed in the opening game, the Academy faced stormy weather and gale warnings. But a big fourth quarter play against Nichols meant anchors away.
Greatest victory that we've ever had in this program. You guys made it happen under probably the best. That we could possibly have. It shows you what a little perseverance and road belief does.
Irv, how have the Buccaneers done?
Tied for first in the conference with a 3-1 record, but this upperclassmen come back the first week in November.
All right, the NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations. Now, as many of you know, Green Bay waived kicker Chester Marcol this week, saying they were disappointed with the height and the depth of his kickoffs. Marcol, a 9-year NFL veteran, was the league scoring champion in 72 and 74, and he's this week's example of how quickly you can go from hero to GOAT. He was the hero in this season's opener when he ran in his own blocked field goal attempt for the winning points against the Chicago Bears.
Chester has made an impact on this football team in the years that he's been here. This is part of the difficulty of making a decision like this.
I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. I'm not bitter.
Now, Markle says he received 2 Novocaine shots before the Miami game last October and another shot the following week when the Packers played the New York Jets.
In order for me to be able to play that game, I had no choice but to take shots. Very privately, both of us talked. He asked me how I was doing. I says, Coach, as far as right now is concerned, there is no way I can kick tomorrow unless I get Novocaine shots. He says, well, at this moment, because we didn't have a chance to get anybody else in here and we have nobody that can kick, I think this organization nor you has no choice.
Yes, I did tell him or say that we would have to do that because based on what our doctors had said at the time, I simply responded in that fashion.
They asked me not to say anything to the press after the game because the Green Bay Packers have not told anything to the National Football League that I was questionable, probable, or whatever the case might be that they have to report. And I hope lightning strikes me dead or a roof falls on my head at this second, if that's a lie.
The league, Irv, of course, is investigating that situation, not because Chester Markle used Novocaine. He was not the first, nor will he be the last. But because the injury was not reported to the commissioner's office. The NFL has very strict rules about reporting injuries, just so they can avoid a possible gambling coup. Now let's show you how the Green Bay Packers are doing this afternoon against the Buccaneers in Tampa, Florida. And the Packers have turned in a good game today. Here's Dickey going play action, James Lofton, Irv.
Pretty good delivery here. He has ample time, hits Lofton, and he drives their club down in the scoring position.
And from there, it was Turdell Middleton off tackle for the touchdown. But then the Bucs got a big break. This interception by Richard Wood.
Richard Wood, they call him Batman now there. He's kind of a loosey-goosey guy, Brent. Picks this one off and rambles all the way in for the Bucs score.
Now, after this touchdown, which tied the game at 7, then Dickey came back and hit his tight end. But now the Bucs have scored on a 9-yard run by Williams. They are tied at 14. Meanwhile, Louis Giamona, forced into the starting lineup because of the injury to Montgomery, fumbled early against the New York Giants. They recovered on the 1.
They recovered on the 1 on the first offensive play they had. Phil Simms goes in for quarterback sneaking a score.
Now, Simms then also, Irv, threw to Johnny Perkins, and it was suddenly 16-3 Giants.
Well, the first half of the game was all Giants. Here he goes in and scores, but the second half, the tide turned.
Watch Ron Jaworski to Louis Giamona. Did you ever see a player come back stronger from an early fumble?
Well, Dick Vermeil's nephew.
Do you think that Dick might have had a few words to say to him, Irv?
I'm sure he did. His ears were blistering for sure. Here he goes in there for a score.
Now, here's the man Irv Cross found at Jackson State last year. Said, watch him. His name is Perry Harrington. He turned it loose. Irv is too modest. I'll tell you, that's the reason why the Eagles drafted that young man. Now watch Louis Giamona get in there again for another 4 yards away. And Irv, would you believe that Keith Krepfle is also healthy?
Keith Krepfle is a big cog on the Eagles' offensive wheel. The Eagles, by the way, in the second half only allowed the Giants 18 yards passing and 11 yards rushing.
Cullen Bryant for the Rams against the St. Louis Cardinals. Turned it loose for 20 yards from scrimmage. Here's Vince Ferragamo going to Willie Miller.
What a year he's having. He's ranked the #1 quarterback in the National Football Conference.
He can also run. Watch this. Keep it, Vince. Receivers are covered. What a great offensive line that is. Oh, my. One of the best of the NFL. Let's send you back now to the stadium and the game that you're enjoying.
Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas. We're at halftime with the Dallas Cowboys leading the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 38-7. Frank Lieber along with Roger Staubach. And I kind of wonder what in the world a coach tells his team when you're down 31 at halftime. You can't reasonably say to a ball club, can you? Go out there, you still have a chance to win it.
I don't think so. I think they've got to keep a good, solid, positive attitude and go into the second half to doing the best they can to come out with a game that they can be somewhat proud of. Right now, they're not proud of it. It's been a bit of an embarrassment. It's a lot of turnovers, and correct the mistakes, and we'll regroup and go on to next week. But the second half is an important, mainly psychologically, for the 49ers right now.
Well, the loss of Hofer very early, I think, really has hurt this ball club, don't you think?
I saw Hofer. He was limping off the field. They had him on crutches. They say it's a knee sprain, but he is just a great football player for the 49ers. He catches a football, he runs, he's a leader in their offense, so it's going to be difficult to do very much without him.
So 38-7 is where it stands here at Texas Stadium. Both teams coming back on the field. We'll be ready to go in the second half of football in just a very few moments.
Hi, I'm Drew Pearson of the Dallas Cowboys. Being a high school athlete was a great experience, but even way back then, it was tough being a teenager. I had to make some pretty big decisions, selecting a college, planning my career, and even making a choice about drinking. Today, alcohol abuse is a real problem among young people. That's why it's so important for parents to help their teenagers with straight talk about alcohol. Like pro athletes, teenagers need good coaching, especially with big decisions. Having the right information when you need it about drinking or not drinking can mean the difference between being a winner and not making the grade. This free booklet, Straight Talk About Alcohol, can help you guide your son or daughter to make the right decisions. For your free copy, write Education Commission of the States, Box 687, Denver, Colorado, 80201. Send for it today and help your teenager be a winner for life.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
The preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Ready to go here in the second half. Rafael Septien gets his toe into the football. James Owens fields it for the 49ers on the 3, up the middle of the 20, 25. He gets outside. Look out. He elected to go the inside route. Returned it to the 33, which is a fine return. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. Pretty well dominated by the Cowboys, I'd say.
Well, you got to go to the bottom of the San Francisco column with the turnovers. 5 turnovers, and Dallas, I know, took advantage of 4 of those. The time of possession, of course, Dallas controlled the ball, so that pretty well tells the story. That in the passing game of Dallas. Dallas has got 206 yards passing, and they've hit 3 touchdown passes to Drew Pearson.
Whopping edge in all categories. DeBerg remains at halfback, or rather at the quarterback position, pardon me. And Don Woods, a newcomer, who was signed just this week. See, it's getting to me, Roger. Woods, a former San Diego Charger who is from Denton, Texas, just north of Dallas, played his college football at North Texas State, and is a former 1,000-yard rusher with San Diego. Picked up this week. Phil Francis was placed on the injured list. So Woods is teaming with Cooper in that backfield. Second down, 5. DeBerg overthrowing Freddie Solomon. We get a flag. Like it might be pass interference against Dallas.
Well, there's an example of what's going to happen also. Ed Jones didn't even go for the running fake. He was in there like gangbusters, and it's going to be a test for the offensive line of San Francisco, the passing game especially, with the Dallas front line coming after him 38-7. They're not even going to look for the run.
Officials will talk it over. The referee, Pat Haggerty, and his crew. Illegal use of hands against Dallas will give the 49ers an automatic first down. We get the official call here, probably against one of the Cowboy defensive backs. Downfield as they try to work on Solomon.
Illegal use of the hands. Defense. First down.
Well, we got everything but the number. But I assume it was Steve Wilson because he was in the area. It's
Looked like Steve Wilson, number 45.
49ers have the ball at their 44-yard line. DeBerg back, fades it to Cooper. Big hole for the rookie down to the 40 of Dallas, inside the 35 to the 30-yard line.
Well, that's a great play right there. It's a good.
We got a holding penalty against San Francisco. Going to nullify it.
DeBerg's back, and it's just a draw right up the middle. And again, Dallas is coming after the quarterback, and the linebackers are dropping back quick, and Cooper got inside and broke it through the middle. With his speed, he got downfield, but it's all for naught.
Are you surprised, or perhaps that Bill Walsh didn't go to Montana here in the second half, or you figure when a team's 31 points down, it's really kind of unfair to put another guy in there?
Well, I'm sure Montana will be in there before the day is over. It's just a decision the head coach has. I remember a game Montana came in, though.
Holding, number 86, offense.
Charlie Young, the tight end.
They played in the Cotton Bowl here when he was with Notre Dame and against Houston. Houston was ahead 34-12. Of course, Montana was in the whole game, but he turned that thing around, and Notre Dame won 35-34. got to say, it was one of the great collegiate football games I've ever seen.
I was on the sidelines, and I've never been so cold in my life. That was the year of the great ice storm here in Dallas. Under those circumstances, it was remarkable. 49ers backed up to their 38-yard line. DeBerg trying to set up the screen to Cooper. Couldn't quite do it.
Well, Cooper got knocked off. It was a good, excellent play. Dallas was past the line of scrimmage quickly. The back slipped out behind the defensive line, and he would have gone a long ways, but someone tripped him up.
First half, DeBerg 6 out of 17 for 126 yards.
That Green Bay game swung back and forth. It's now 14-14.
Now check the record book. The last time the Cowboys scored as many as 38 points and a half a play was against the Jets in 1971 here. Look at this score.
New England is putting it on Miami. There they come. They're coming. And it's
that's almost intercepted by Guy Brown, number 59. The pass intended for Cooper. And DeBerg had a load back there. He had all he could handle.
Randy White was coming on that. He's active in the middle of that line the whole time. He's double teamed a lot. He's just he's quick as far as his escapes, going after the quarterback. He's excellent against the run. And Dallas off-season program, Randy White probably is the strongest man on the team, but Bob Ward's the assistant coach. He's completely in charge of Dallas conditioning from April all the way through the season. These guys are in shape. They're strong, and of course Randy White is the kingpin as far as strength in the Dallas Cowboys.
Third down, 16. White can bench press 450 pounds. Big rush on DeBerg. Look out. Down he goes back at the 28-yard line.
I would say the only advantage you'd have with Montana would be his ability to scramble, because this rush you're going to see the rest of this half, and they're coming like crazy. There's Ed Jones. Harvey's coming around the corner, and Randy White is right up the middle, so it's they'll probably share that sack right there. Larry Cole, number 63, is also in, and he's being driven to the side there a little bit by Randy Cross, but Randy White made the play.
Fine kick by Miller, driving James Jones back to the 15. He's out to the 20, 25, 30. Look at him run. Fine rookie running back of the Dallas Cowboys returns the punt to the 41-yard line. He just will not go down. 13 minutes, 26 seconds left to play in the third period. Cowboys leading the 49ers 38-7. Back after this. First and 10, Dallas ball at their 41-yard line. Roger Staubach has just set a new record for a turkey sandwich consumed during one commercial. 60 seconds. That's not bad.
Good turkey sandwich.
Just one of many records the Cowboys are setting here this afternoon offensively. Straight dive play out to the 45-yard line to Ron Springs. Talking about Cowboy records, their record for points scored in a single half is 42. That was done in the first half against Philadelphia back in '69 at the Cotton Bowl. That wound up 49-14. This young man we may see a little bit later on, Joe Montana, backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Second down, 5. Hill wide to the right side. Drew Pearson flank to the left. Dorsett really firing through up the middle across the 50 and down to the 39 of the 49ers.
Well, he really burst up the middle right here. There's a hole. Good blocking internally, and Hilton is pushed aside there, number 55, and Dorsett breaks through the middle and is into the secondary very quickly. The key block was on Scott Hilton, number 55, and I'm going to have to give credit, I believe, to Tom Rafferty, number 64, but I couldn't see exactly, but we'll give the Raff credit.
Give Raff credit. That reminds me of an interesting story about Tom Rafferty, which we can bring up maybe. A reverse from Dorsett to Drew Pearson, and Pearson at the 40 hit and dropped at the 39-yard line, and we get a flag.
Excellent play by Melvin Morgan. Drew dipped inside. Morgan was stalking him out over there, and when Drew broke outside, Morgan was right there.
Got to be holding, though, against the Cowboys.
It's got to be against Dallas. It looked like there was holding on the reverse, and it.
That may. Let's see. There's
number
Rafferty
64, Rafferty. He is holding Bobby Leopold.
Well, he was great on the last play.
But Morgan is sneaking up there behind Leopold and makes a nice tackle.
Here's the walk-off by Pat Haggerty, the referee, and the call.
Holding number 64.
Holding. Offense.
Before talking about Rafferty.
Rafferty's...
Tell the training camp story about the dog food. Let's wait after this play. Then we'll bring it up. Very unusual story involving Tom Rafferty, number 64, the Cowboy guard. Danny White over the middle. Jay Salty at the 30. First down at the 27-yard line as White continues to hit.
Danny was on target. He had John Fitzgerald pulling out in front of Tony Dorsett as an outlet to the left, and he had Jay Salty over the middle. The linebacker came up. Watch Dorsett right here, number 30. He's out here, and here's Fitzgerald, number 62, coming out in front of him. White then looks at the tight end, and if the linebacker comes up on Dorsett, he goes to the tight end, who is past Hilton, but also Tony Dorsett really was the outlet, and the reactions of the linebacker, Danny read it perfectly and hit the man downfield, and Jay Salty again made another nice catch. He's now the leading tight end in receptions for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a Cowboy first down at the 27-yard line. Ron Springs on the delay gets up to the 23. Now Rafferty likes to munch a lot, doesn't he, in training camp?
Yeah, I was rooming with Bruning and Waters and Harris, and we used to be on the corner. We would have a lot of food out. We had always had these mixed peanuts out there, and Rafferty would come by and always grab a big handful. So one day we put some dog food in there. So
you didn't.
He came by and had a couple handfuls of dog food. He came back to the room that night and said he wasn't feeling good. I said, well, we better get you to a vet because you just eat dog food. He has never forgiven me for that one.
Second down, 6 from the 23-yard line. Dorsett behind Rafferty. Not much of a hole there.
San Francisco had him shut off, but you can see, watch Dorsett's quick feet right here. He gets away right there. He shut off completely right here and probably would have a 2-yard loss, but that little move, that is, a lot of backs can do it, but you can't, not too many can accelerate off that move, and he accelerated enough to get back the line of scrimmage and
got a couple, actually.
Got actually a yard or two.
Ball is marked at the 19-yard line, sets up a 3rd and 2. Hill, Drew Pearson both out of the lineup. Double tight end set up now for the Cowboys with Cosby and Salty in there. On the 3rd down and short yardage situation. Salty in motion. The give is to Ron Springs. He has the first down near the 15-yard line.
The report that Philadelphia really came back strong in the second half. New York controlled that first half, and Philadelphia came back in the second half and won going away. Ron Springs, Frank, I believe he bruised a knee. It wasn't that bad ankle we thought in the first half, so Ron is back in there and running hard again.
First down for Dallas at the 15-yard line. The day that the Cowboys scored 38 points and a half against the Jets, they wound up winning that game 52-10. 9 years ago. Dorsett inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. I guess you had to be the happiest man on the Dallas Cowboys when you heard the Cowboys had drafted Tony Dorsett. That was really the kind of missing ingredient up to that point.
Well, Tony has really given a lot. I'm a big fan of his. He does so much. He caught 45 passes last year. He's getting into the passing game a lot more, which he can do. Get the ball to him and let him run with it. He's got over 1,000 yards each season, and he has really been a main ingredient in this Dallas offense. And this year, he's been slow a little bit getting started in the running game. He's been off and on, but he's still catching the ball well.
Second down, 7. Cowboys from the 49er 13. Dorsett it is. Around the right side, looking for running room, and this time he is stopped at the line of scrimmage for what will be no gain. You know, I guess he had the all-time thrill for a football player, and that would be to play on a number 1 ranked college football team, an NCAA champion his senior year, and then go his rookie year into the pros and play a Super Bowl championship team. Not many people are going to make that statement.
A lot of big things happened to him in 2 years, and he handled it well. He was a highly sought-after draft choice. They paid him a lot of money, but he came on the team and he produced, and the players appreciated that.
Third down, still 7 for the Cowboys at the 49er 13. White's going to put it
tight end again.
He's got 3 touchdown passes. He's got 4 now. As Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, hauls in that throw from Danny White. And that makes it a 44-7 ball game.
Well, that's Dallas's favorite play inside the 10. They have the tight ends working on the strong safety, or they have the running back out in the flat. Billy Joe was working on Ricky Churchman, number 33, and Danny looked at him all the way. He had Ron Springs in the flat. Churchman is on Billy Joe, who's a big target. Harper tried to come over number 59 off of Springs, but he was too late also. But it's the same play that Jay Salty caught on the 1-yard line earlier in the game. This time Dupree caught it for a touchdown.
Septien with the extra point try. 7 minutes, 28 seconds left to play in the third period. And that makes it Dallas 45, San Francisco 7. It's been all Cowboys all afternoon long. Cowboys scored on their first 2 possessions. Big football weekend in this town. Of course, better than 75,000 yesterday for Texas, Oklahoma. And a capacity crowd of 65,000 on hand here at Texas Stadium this afternoon with the Cowboys and the 49ers. 4 touchdown passes in one game is a career high for Danny White of the Cowboys. Septien's kickoff. James Owens, 7 yards deep in the end zone, will not bring it out, and I can't hardly blame it. There's the book on that last Dallas touchdown drive as the Cowboys have moved the football at will. Tom Landry.
Coach Landry, there he's got his arms folded. He is in that position a lot. I remember one time on the sidelines in a game similar to this, and I tried to get a play from him. He was kind of looking up through the hole in the roof. He came back down, looked at me, and gave me the play, and I said, I wonder where you got those plays from. He didn't even crack a smile. And he's not smiling yet today.
Well, I mean, after all, he's only got a 38-point lead. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Don Woods trying to get outside, but the Cowboys swing it out far enough, and he gets very, very little, if anything. Woods, the former San Diego running back.
Coach Landry, I think he does have a direct line up there.
Why do you say that?
We used to take road trips. He tells what to wear. Well, I think it's going to rain. You get a weather report. He's a better meteorologist than the weather people. He tells how cold it was going to be, when it was going to rain, when it was going to be sunny. But I'll tell you, one time he was playing golf. He had a ball in the sand trap.
Yes.
Looked up in the air, folded those arms, and I'll be doggone, grass started growing into the ball.
I can't.
No, I'm just kidding.
If he knew what you were saying about him.
I'm just kidding there, Tom.
2nd and 10, DeBerg behind the intended receiver, who is Freddie Solomon. Let me ask you a serious question about Landry. If he would have come to you this year after last season ended and he said, Roger, if you'll play one more year, seriously, I'll let you call the plays, would that have influenced your decision?
Well, Dallas would probably be 2-3 right now.
Well, I'm not saying that. Would you have played?
No, that wasn't the decision. The decision was based on other factors, and that wasn't. I would have loved to call the plays. He knew that. We shared a lot of the play responsibilities as far as talking over what I wanted to do and what he wanted to do. So that wasn't the factor at all.
3rd and 10 for the 49ers. DeBerg pumps it once, finally lets it go, and
grounding.
Yep. Intentional grounding is what the call will be this time against Steve DeBerg. That, of course, is a judgment call. It's in the
this
eyes
is the
official.
Official's got a decision here, but when someone has an arm on a quarterback, they're going to blow that tight whistle. And right here, Harvey Martin has an arm on him, gets away, and then DeBerg just fires into the ground. There was no intention of a pass completion, and the possibility of a trap led the referee to call that one. It's a referee's decision. That was a good one there. That's a good call.
That's a murderous call for the 49ers because it's also loss of down, which means they're back in their 10 and having to punt out of it now. Miller, great kick. Again, James Jones waiting at his own 45. Jones escapes the first man. Always seems to get something. That time it's 5 yards or so as he returns it to midfield. Terry Totolo making the stop for the San Francisco 49ers. Cowboys cruising here in the third period, 45-7, and we'll be back at Texas Stadium in just a moment. Cowboys and the 49ers with 6:58 left to play in the third period. Dallas leading 45-7. And Bill Walsh trying to figure out how to get his offense untracked. It just hasn't gotten going. 5 turnovers killed the 49ers in the first half. Cowboys from midfield. Ron Springs takes the handoff. Carries it down to the 46 for a pickup of 4 yards. It says here, last Cowboys quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes in one game, Roger Staubach against Baltimore in the 78 season opener. Green Bay and Tampa Bay have gone to overtime now, tied. Remember that Monday night game, 38-0 against the Colts?
I remember.
Buffalo losing its first game of the year.
Look at this one right here. This is incredible. Cincinnati's beat Pittsburgh twice this season. Cincinnati was coming off of a loss to Green Bay last week.
On 2nd and 6, Springs close to the first down at the 41-yard line.
I bet the Oilers are happy to see that score.
That'll help some people in that Central Division, I'll tell you.
That was in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, right?
They had
last
not,
time in Cincinnati.
They had won like 20-some straight in Pittsburgh.
We were there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Remember? Saw them play Green Bay. It looked like they're not Green Bay, but Chicago. And looked like the Steelers never lose a football game again. They were doing to the Bears what the Cowboys are doing to the 49ers. Third down, long yard needed for the first down here. And we get a timeout called by the Cowboys. Saw Bill Walsh there a moment ago. He has worked his way up through the ranks as an assistant coach, first of all at Oakland, then Cincinnati, then at San Diego, where he helped develop those great passing games, and he's done the same thing in San Francisco. Great throwing game developed by the 49ers, though it certainly hasn't surfaced thus far this afternoon. Cowboys with a 3rd down and 1 from the 41-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. As we go back to play. Hey, these fans aren't satisfied. They want more.
You know what they're cheering about?
Dorsett picks up the first down at the 38.
Tell you what, they've just blinked on the board is Cincinnati 17, Pittsburgh 16. They've got a final on the Dallas board, and that's what the fans were. They still aren't crazy about Pittsburgh here in Dallas. I don't know why.
When do you figure that Mr. Landry's going to call off the dogs here? I mean, after all, 45-7.
Well, I don't think he's going to be throwing the big play type things. They're going to still try and move the football and probably, I'm sure, emphasize the running game a lot more here in this series.
1st and 10 from the 39-yard line of San Francisco. Dorsett trying to get outside, fights his way down to the 32 for a pickup of 5 or 6 yards. Tony has had just one 100-yard game thus far this season. So if they keep the ball on the ground and he stays in there, he could have his second this afternoon. He's in the 75-yard area right now.
Number 44, Frank, that time, Charles Johnson's in the lineup now, and he made an excellent play. Tony had him kind of one-on-one out in the open field and tried to straight arm him, and Johnson fought him off and made a nice play.
2nd down. Dallas needs 4 for the first down with the ball at the 32-yard line of the 49ers. Springs pops through to the 29-yard line. This guy was really a surprise as a rookie last year. Weren't you rather amazed at what they got out of him as a 5th-round draft choice?
Springs, when he was at Ohio State, had a great junior year. His senior year, he was hurt most of the year, so he was drafted late based on his potential, and Dallas really got a coup. Springs' future is very bright. He's an excellent receiver. He's a good blocker, and his running ability, he substituted for Dorsett in 2 critical games last year against St. Louis and Washington and performed very well. They're very high on he and Dorsett in the same backfield, and with Newhouse, they've got 3 excellent running backs.
3rd down, less than a yard for the first down from the 29-yard line, and Springs picks up that and about 5 more as he takes it down to the 23. A guy we haven't seen much of this afternoon, who came back into the lineup last week in very spectacular fashion against the Giants, is Preston Pearson, who caught 4 passes last week.
Preston's been in there on some third down situations, but he was really the key receiver in the victory over the Giants last week.
Another first down for Dallas. Danny White, 16 out of 22 for 239 yards and 4 touchdowns. No interceptions. He has been sacked once. Dorsett taking the deep handoff, and not much there as Tony fights his way forward for a couple of yards near the 20-yard line. Willie Harper, number 59, making the stop. And Dorsett taking a bit of a breather.
Since the second half of the Denver game, Danny White has really been on target. His percentages are very high. He's hitting 66% of his passes, and today's statistics are even better. Plus, he's thrown the 4 touchdowns, but he's really been on target since that second half of that Denver game. It's been over 4 weeks now where he's just been right in the middle of this passing game, hitting everybody and all different receivers.
There's White calling a timeout as he brought him up to the line of scrimmage and saw something he didn't see. Why would you normally do that?
Well, it's you have a play called and you go up the line of scrimmage. Either someone's out of position or the defense has did something you don't like.
Again, you have a look at the crazy quilt sunshade pattern here at Texas Stadium, the hole in the roof. Someone came up with a good answer the other day when they asked what the hole is for. It's to let the balloons out before the game. Where else would they go, right?
I wonder what that was for.
2nd and 8. Cowboys from the 20-yard line. Butch Johnson is in motion.
Got their passing offense in there, and they go with the draw.
Ron Springs all the way for a touchdown.
Are moving at will right now. The 49ers are a beleaguered, beaten team right now.
20
this
yards.
Is a draw. They've got their wide receivers in, all 3 of them. It looks like a passing situation, and it is. And of course, they come back with a counter against the pass, which is a draw play. And Springs loose, and that's a pun. And into the end zone.
Springs loose is a punt, huh?
He's had about 2 or 3 good runs today, and both, I think all 3 of them have been right up the middle.
Septien with the extra point try as the score continues to mount. 2 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in the 3rd period, and that makes it Cowboys 52 and the 49ers 7.
We're going to see Glenn Crono in this game pretty soon, Frank. Glenn is the fine number 2 draft choice and young backup quarterback that's been in Dallas 4 years, warming up on the sidelines, and he's going to see his first action this season.
That'll be interesting for San Francisco fans to see Carano, because again, he is the fellow that Tom Landry decided to keep when he cut Steve DeBerg in the final cutdown, and both were rookies some 4 years or so back. Septien getting ready to kick off what's been the 49ers' longest afternoon. There's James Owens, number 89, back there deep along with Farrell. Al Springs now has 81 yards rushing and 18 carries. Dorsett, 75. Owens back to the 20-yard line. That's the end of the line. Cowboy record book shows that the most points they have ever scored in a single game was against the Lions back in 1968 in a season opening game. It was Greg Landry's first game of his rookie year. Dallas beat the Lions at the Cotton Bowl 59-13. Ray Rhodes, the 49er defensive back, who was a receiver at Tulsa, catching passes thrown by one Drew Pearson, who at that time was the Tulsa quarterback. DeBerg back to throw it. Cooper out to the 20. Mike Hagman was the first to get to him, and cleaning up over there was Benny Barnes.
That was a screen all the way. Cooper made one good move there, and it shows the kind of ability that he does have. He just hasn't got the ball very much this afternoon and has been pretty well shut down.
I believe that's his first catch of the day. Clark has done most of the receiving. He's caught 6 for 126 yards, including the only 49er touchdown. Second down, 6 from the 24-yard line. DeBerg intercepted. Dennis Thurman tried to lateral the ball. Picked up by Wilson, and Wilson goes out of bounds at the 32. So that is turnover number 6.
Well, the ball's thrown a little bit high, and it's, of course, tipped up in the air. And once the ball's tipped up in the air, that's where the interceptions start taking place. And Thurman's right there. He's always around the ball. Dennis Thurman's an excellent safety. He's around the ball. Here's a no-no right here. In a close game, of course, this would be real bad. But again, it's 52-7, so I guess they can do those kind of things. But he tried the lateral, and it was knocked around. Steve Wilson ended up with the football.
Now here's the guy we were talking about. Glenn Corrado is now on at quarterback. Keep in mind that he has never thrown a pass in a regular season game. First time he puts it in the air, if he does. It'll be a big NFL moment for him. He's played in preseason the last several years. James Jones into the backfield in a running back spot. He's the backup to Tony Dorsett, and he carries down to the 25-yard line. So Jones in there for Dorsett. Corrado is now in at quarterback. Played his college football at Nevada, Las Vegas. That is a long afternoon.
Well, the big thing, they've got to realize in this professional football, you don't have those turnovers, you can come back next. It's a mental game right now, and Bill Walsh has got a lot of character, and this team will get back on track. They're going to have some defensive problems this year. They've lost Wayne Board, their great defensive lineman. They've got a few people hurt, but they'll play much better than they did today, and the turnovers again have killed them the whole afternoon.
The Cowboys also have their third-string fullback, Newsome, in there. That's Jones carrying to the 23-yard line. Clock running down the final 15 seconds of the third quarter here at Texas Stadium.
The Cowboys keep 3 tight ends. Jay Salty can also play wide receiver. They have their young tight end in there, Doug Cosby, their third tight end, who's an excellent tight end. They have a lot of hope for his future with Dallas.
If White indeed is through, and that's the end of the quarter, he'll have wound up the ball game with 16 completions and 22 tries for a spectacular 72.7 percentage. Back with the final quarter after this. Into the final period we go. Frank Lieber along with Roger Staubach at Texas Stadium. Dallas leading San Francisco by a whopping 52-7 count. Cowboys led at halftime 38-7. They have the football. They're driving again with a third down and a long yard needed for the first down at the 49er 24-yard line. The repair work on the sidelines. Scott Perry is the defensive back being tended to. Newhouse is back in there at fullback along with James Jones. Doug Cosby, the tight end, in motion. It is Jones driving for the first down. Hard man to bring down. Finally dragged out at the 20-yard line.
He's got quick feet, James Jones. The Cowboys really like him. He was the number 3 draft choice. He also has done a great job running back punts and kickoffs, which the Cowboys have not had in recent years. And you can see why. He can spin, he can cut, and he's got fine agility. They're using him mainly to run back punts and kicks, and now he's in the game. And he's a game breaker. He had a great preseason for Dallas.
I'm curious, as you look at Don Woods on the sideline, how you would define quick feet. A lot of people think it's purely speed, but it's not that. This is Newhouse, who fights his way down to the 13-yard line. What is quick feet?
A quick feet is the ability to move in a direction and to change very quickly. A lot of running backs lumber. I mean, they just move, and it's power and drive, where the smaller backs like Jones or Dorsett's a little bit bigger, but Walter Payton, they can stop in their tracks and move their feet very quickly and accelerate from that movement. Some players try to juke and move around, but they can't accelerate, and of course it doesn't help them a great deal. Jones is quick, and he can accelerate from the movement of his feet when he has to.
Second down. Dallas needs 2 for the first down from the 49er 13.
Do you understand?
Not a word. Newhouse, but it sounded impressive, whatever it was. He reaches the 10. It'll be very close for the first down. It did sound very impressive. I will say that. When I used to go to class, in college, and sit there and listen to those professors a time or two, and you'd go through a whole lecture, and you said, boy, that sounded impressive, but then you never took a single note.
That was what you call a long answer on quick feet instead of a quick answer on quick feet.
That's true. That's true. That's another first down. They're at the 10-yard line.
Lynn Swan's mother made him take dancing lessons to develop his acrobatic and quick feet ability.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that. Another touchdown for the Cowboys would tie their all-time point total. Newhouse is down to the 7-yard line. Newhouse showing his quick feet.
Of course, the Cowboys have some changes in their offensive line also, and see Newhouse really getting hit hard right there. He's got the ability to bounce back up when he's hit, but of course that time the Craig Pookie really clocked him. Robert Shaw's in there at center, number 52. So Dallas has some changes in their offensive line.
James Jones pulling his way up the middle down to the 3. Deals out a little punishment when he runs too. This was a young man from Mississippi State who had some knee problems coming out of college. Maybe the reason he wasn't a higher draft pick, but he's run very well for the Cowboys, particularly on kick returns this year. Third down, goal to go from the 3-yard line.
Dallas is keeping it on the ground. They're not trying to run up the score by any means. There's over 11 minutes to go, and you've got to carry out your plays. They're keeping it on the ground, and they're moving the ball on the ground, of course, much better than they did in the second half. In the first half, they had trouble. In the second half, they moved the ball very well on the ground.
Newhouse is to the goal line and over. Robert Newhouse scores for the Cowboys.
Doug Cosby, number 84, was coming down the line and kind of led that blocking. Newhouse came over Cosby and into the end zone.
Well, the Cowboys are now an extra point away from tying their all-time point total record. 59 scored originally against Detroit back in 1968. There's still 11 minutes and 19 seconds left to play in this football game. Septien guns it through. So the Dallas Cowboys continue to roll, taking advantage of yet another San Francisco turnover. They lead the 49ers 59-7.
Just began the fourth quarter in St. Louis between the Los Angeles Rams and the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Cardinals are right back in the thick of it. It was 14-7, and now watch, because this put the Cardinals on the board, and they pulled to within 7 as a result of that touchdown. As they start the fourth quarter, 14-7, Rams over the Cards. Let's send you back to Frank Lieber.
Welcome back once again to Texas Stadium. Cowboys ready to kick off with a little over 11 minutes remaining in the football game. Septien, good kickoff. James Owens at the goal line. Out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Owens scraps his way up to the 35. And Steve DeBerg remains in for the 49ers. You may have wondered why they didn't go to Montana, but when you get this far behind, again, it probably wouldn't be fair to Joe to put him into a situation like this to really show what he can do, is it?
I think that's what the thinking is. The score, even at halftime, was 38-7, so evidently Bill Walsh has opted to keep Steve DeBerg in there.
DeBerg is 7 out of 23 for 130 yards. Cooper getting outside to the 45, to the 50, fumble the football. Dallas has recovered.
This is when you want to save those for another game right now. They don't need those.
Great run by Cooper.
This is close right here. This replay will show it. It's an inside handoff. I thought maybe he hit the ground first when he fumbled. Someone dove on top of him, but we'll see. Right here is where he gets hit, and bam, that's a bad call on the referees right there. That should have been, he should have been down right there.
Bruce Heather, number 57, covered the fumble. Turnover number 7 against the San Francisco 49ers. They're second in this half, and the Cowboys have a first down at their 45. Butch Johnson wide to the left side. Tony Hill wide to the right. Hill has caught 4 thus far this afternoon. Newhouse and Jones are the setbacks. Robert Newhouse is out to the 47-yard line. I think I have detected a note that Landry feels this one may be in the bag. He has taken off the headset. He is no longer talking to Dan Reeves. Either that or he is mad at Reeves.
Well, you know one thing about him. He once he feels the game is under control, he's thinking about next week, and he doesn't have much time to celebrate. He's always you would never know if you saw that scene who was winning or losing, but he's probably thinking about next week now and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Second and 9 from the 47-yard line. Glenn Corrado at quarterback. Corrado is still to throw his first NFL regular season pass. Cowboys been keeping it on the ground. Timmy Newsome, number 30, rookie fullback, on the carry for another yard or so. Third down, well, let's call it 7 needed for the first down, with the ball at the 48-yard line. That's the way it stands, believe it or not, with 9 minutes and 51 seconds to go. Preston Pearson is in the Cowboy lineup. Passing situation here for Corrado. And they go on the delay to Preston Pearson. Pearson fights his way to the 50-yard line. That's going to be it, and the Cowboys are going to have to punt. This will be only their 3rd punt of the football game. Corrado may have to wait a little longer to throw his first NFL pass.
I don't think Dallas will put the ball in the air with 59-7. It's kind of the principle of the thing right now is to run that clock down and not pour it on
and not get anybody hurt. Danny White in to do the punting. He was 3rd in the league this year or this week in the punting statistics, 2nd in the passing statistics. Another fumble by the 49ers. Ball is out of bounds, but it was last controlled by San Francisco, so the 49ers will retain possession. 49ers get the ball, 1st and 10 on their 22, and we'll be back at Texas Stadium in just a moment. Ricky Churchman of the 49ers, who caught the punt, was shaken up on the play. He's on his feet now and walking off the field under his own power. Churchman, one of 3 members of the secondary last year at the University of Texas, who are now starting in the National Football League. Johnny Johnson out in L.A. and Derek Hatchett, who is starting for the Baltimore Colts. Not a very good afternoon, as you can see, for Steve DeBerg, the San Francisco quarterback. And Steve, I'm sure, has got to be wondering if he will retain that starting position next week. Floats it long for Dwight Clark, who caught the other touchdown pass.
That's interference right there.
Aaron Mitchell. Interference. 2 flags go down, and Mitchell will get the call at the 34-yard line of Dallas.
Well, Dwight Clark's had a good day under trying circumstances. He's caught 6 passes. This could have been the 7th. He'd won for the long touchdown, but he's behind Aaron Mitchell this time. He's got Mitchell beat. Mitchell's trying to recover, sticking his hands up there, and also hits him before the ball gets there, and it's a good call by the officials.
That'll give the 49ers a first down at the Dallas 34. This may be about their deepest penetration of the football game.
I think Ricky got his neck hurt over there on the sidelines, and they're checking him out.
Ricky Churchman, the former Texas star, excellent tackler and a fine rookie prospect. DeBerg trying to get some points on the board for the 49ers, has to scramble. Larry Bethea trying to run him down. Heather got over there and made the stop at the 28-yard line.
Well, the pass protection that good. That play was actually very good. The coverage downfield had caused Steve to run the football, but really he's got time. You want about 3 to 3.5 seconds, and you could pretty well get most passes off, and he's got some time right there. And doesn't see anything. They've also got Mike Hagman's out there in good shape, taking away the flare pass. So Steve decides to run and gets about 8 yards.
Second down. Let's call it 2 needed for the first down with the ball at the 26. Sideline throw. Good for the first down. I believe that's Freddie Solomon's first catch of the day. Run out of bounds at the 20-yard line on the far side by cornerback Steve Wilson. 7 turnovers for the 49ers, 4 fumbles, 3 interceptions. It's a bit of an upset there. Of course, it's early in that game. Oakland leading San Diego. First down, San Francisco at the 20. You have to believe that Bill Walsh certainly is going to give strong consideration to starting Joe Montana next week. He almost started Montana this week. Thought about it a long time. He's made some statements here in the past week or so that Montana could be the quarterback of the 49ers' future. Earl Cooper in motion. DeBerg back to throw it. Wide open. That's Clark. Dwight Clark has his second touchdown reception of the day.
I like that Dwight Clark. He had a great game last week, caught a couple touchdowns. He's caught 2 more this week. And, of course, Steve DeBerg is going to take a lot of the blame today, and not rightly so. He had a few passes picked off, but Dallas also has played excellent offensive football. They've hit the big plays. They've beat the 49er defense, and the quarterback sometimes gets the brunt of it. So it's going to be a situation, I think, between DeBerg and Montana that's going to probably take place for a while, the controversy, and every team's been through it. But Steve DeBerg is not at fault for this lopsided score today. He's contributed to it, as the rest of the team has.
Ray Wersing tacking on the extra point. That makes it Cowboys 59, 49ers 14. 7 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the football game. Ray Wersing getting ready to kick off as the shadows lengthen here at Texas Stadium. Low liner comes down to Newsome at the 5-yard line. The Cowboy rookie is up to the 15, 20, 25, and finally dropped at the 28. Now getting back to DeBerg and Montana and any controversy, again, you have that when you got 2 quarterbacks who are about the same age. That's inevitable, isn't it?
That's what makes it difficult. One has to be the starter, and the other guy doesn't want to sit around. So DeBerg and Montana will be going through this. They're the best of friends, and they have to work together, so that's good. They respect each other, but they're going to be battling each other for a job, and that's the name of the game.
The ideal situation, of course, is to have a veteran quarterback and then a youngster that you're trying to break in. James Jones continues to run hard for the Cowboys out to the 35-yard line, picked up 7 or 8 before Ted Vincent, number 75, made the tackle. Rams now are pouring it on St. Louis. Not really pouring it on, but they've got a comfortable edge there, certainly in the 4th period.
St. Louis has played very well the last couple of weeks. That's been a tight game. It was 14-7 in the 4th quarter. Now the Rams have come across for another touchdown. It's 21-7. St. Louis still has a chance in the Eastern Conference. The game today was a big one for them.
Second down 3. Cowboys at their 34-yard line. That's the 30-second clock may have run out on the Cowboys, which will be a 5-yard delay of game situation. Notice a lot of the Cowboy wives and alumni wives in attendance at this football game. I know they have a lot of projects going too.
Well, they do. The wives have a cookbook. It's their 2nd annual. They have pictures of the players and the coaches.
Delay of the game, offense.
Delay of the game and their families. It's an excellent cookbook. It also benefits the Happy Hill Farm, a children's home near Dallas, and Mary Bruning is heading up that project, but it was successful last year. In the next couple of weeks, they're coming out with their 2nd cookbook.
2nd and 9. Any of your recipes in there, my man?
Yes, they were in there last year. Got a retired recipe in there this year.
Corrado, this will be his first NFL pass, but he's going to have to run it. Well, it would have been his first NFL pass. So Corrado is scrambling and run out of bounds at the 35-yard line, short of the first down. That'll set up 3rd down and 3.
You're looking at a fine athlete, number 18, Glenn Carano. He's fulfilled the expectations of being a number 2 draft choice in the preseason games and in practice. He has not had the chance to play in a game. And of course, you have Danny White, who's got a long career ahead of him, and it's a difficult situation for Glenn Carano. He's an excellent quarterback. He's got a fine arm, and he's a great backup quarterback, Danny White.
49ers showing the blitz as they line up on this 3rd and 3 situation. Here's Carano back to throw it, and it's almost picked off. So he finally got his first NFL pass away, and fortunate for him, it wasn't an interception as Terry Tutolo, the linebacker, was over there quickly. You remember when they got down to the final cut between Carano and DeBerg, what it was based on? What did you think?
Well, Carano was a number 2 draft choice, and DeBerg kind of came out of nowhere. He impressed everybody with his arm and his abilities. Carano, I would say it came down to Carano's maneuverability. He has a strong arm, but he's got a lot of athlete instincts as far as scrambling and moving around, and that probably was the factor, but it was fairly close.
Solomon fading back on this punt, fields it at the 20-yard line, up to the 25, 30, across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line before he's contained by Dexter Clinkscale, number 47. 6 minutes and 37 seconds to go in this football game at Texas Stadium with the Cowboys firmly in command. Frank Lieber with Roger Staubach back at Texas Stadium once again with 6 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. 49ers have the football and a 1st and 10 at their 37-yard line. Steve DeBerg, 9 out of 25, feeds the ball to Cooper, and Guy Brown, number 59 of the Cowboys, stands him up at the 39-yard line.
This is when it's no fun to be a professional football player when you're losing like this. It is just no fun at all.
Final score, Minnesota beat the Bears. What some people might consider an upset, as good as the Bears looked in that second half against the Monday night game. 2nd and 8. San Francisco from its 40-yard line. Wonder how hoarse DeBerg is going to be after this game. Over the middle, certainly catchable, I thought. Number 35. Linville Elliott, who has been filling in for Hofer.
Yeah, he threw it a little bit behind him, but he still could have caught the ball. He was right in the hole in the zone. DeBerg laid it in there pretty well. It was just to the wrong side, and Linville tried to turn around, got one hand on it, but it still was an incompletion.
3rd and 8 for those of you who joined us late. Paul Hofer went out with a knee injury early for San Francisco, and that's hurt them quite a bit, obviously. Hofer, the leading pass receiver in the NFC. Hopefully it's not too serious. Looked like Larry Bethea of Dallas was offside. DeBerg tried to hit Solomon, who couldn't keep his feet in bounds. So the pass goes incomplete. Let's see what the penalty call will be. They played the entire 15-minute overtime period down to Tampa Bay, and no one scored. So it goes into the books as a tie. That's the first tie in the NFL, I believe, this year. Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Packers are coming along a little bit.
Well, they beat Cincinnati last week, and then
outside. 3rd down.
That was on Larry Bethea, number 76. We didn't hear the number, but Cincinnati comes back and beats Pittsburgh 17-16. Now that is what you call coming back.
I would say so. 3rd down and 3. I don't know when the last time was somebody beat the Steelers twice in the same year. Elliott popping through over the middle, picks up the 1st down as he moves into Dallas territory, across the 45 and down to the 44-yard line.
Well, Cincinnati has had a difficult time these past 2 seasons. They have a new coach there, Forrest Gregg, but they've beaten the world champions 3 out of the last 4 times.
There's Paul Hofer back in civilian clothes. You know, at the rate he was catching passes coming into this game, he would have caught 130 passes on the year.
Well, you don't like to see that. He's a heck of a guy, besides being a great athlete.
Steve DeBerg going for Clark. Clark can't reach it.
You're going to give that
and
to Mitchell
Aaron
again.
Mitchell picks up his 2nd pass interference call. Had one on the last drive, too.
Hey, Mitchell's unhappy about that, but I tell you, you can't put your hand on the guy's helmet before the ball gets there.
And that's quite obviously what he did. So the 49ers will pick up another first down and keep this drive going. Yeah, another touchdown here, and it sounds almost reasonable.
Wait a minute now. They're evidently changing their mind.
I think they took the flag back. Could have been a case of one official saw it as pass interference, and the other one maybe had a better view and decided that there was no penalty there. And the first one gave in.
He gave it to the ball. Evidently had gotten to the receiver, and that was the judgment before Mitchell hit it.
2nd and 10 from the 45. DeBerg over the middle, and again we get a marker thrown as
holding.
Mike Hagman stepped in front of the intended receiver that time, who was Eason Ransom, the tight end, and knocked it away.
Well, when you're winning 59-14, the referee starts calling holding on the other team, you know it's a tough day. You've got to really be.
Cardinals aren't dead yet. 21-13 now in the final period.
Holding, number 77, offense.
Gene Barrett guilty of the infraction. 49ers have lost John Ayers today, who went out in the first half with a thigh or hip injury. He has not been back, in addition to Hofer. 2nd down, 20. Ransom in motion. DeBerg. Intended for Solomon. Intercepted. Anthony Dickerson with his 2nd interception of the day. Look at that man run. Dickerson takes it back to the 25. Turnover number 8 against the 49ers.
Well, he brought the few people that are left to their feet. That run. Steve's getting a lot of pressure right here, and he's just throwing it into a group over there and hoping for the best. And there's a couple of Cowboys over there. It's tipped by Benny Barnes. Charlie Waters is over there, and it's tipped to Tony Champ Dickerson from SMU. He's now with the Dallas Cowboys, and he makes a fine run of it. He's got a lot of speed. The Cowboys bringing him in on 3rd downs as a extra defensive linebacker and take out of another linebacker. So they believe he's got the speed to cover defensive backs, and he made a fine interception there.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Newhouse in the middle. Keep in mind now, if Dallas should score again, it would set a new all-time single-game scoring record. They've tied their record of 59, set back in 1968 against the Detroit Lions. Well, what else can you say about this one except regroup? One thing, there won't be any traffic problem getting out of Texas Stadium today. A lot of the fans have decided to take the rest of the afternoon off, figuring this one was in the bag for the Cowboys.
The parents and wives and friends of the players are left.
Timmy Newsome showing good balance. Down to the 20-yard line, short of the first down.
You know, this can work against a team when you score 59 points and you're going in the next week to play the team that's tied with you in the division. You've got to forget about this, not only from the bright side of the game, but also the bleak side. San Francisco's got to regroup, but Dallas can't count on anything like they've had today with all the turnovers. Next week against the Eagles in Philadelphia.
3rd down and 4. Newhouse inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Gonna be, looks like, 4th down and about a yard needed for the first down. I'll tell you, those fans. Oh, Newhouse is getting up low slowly. Those fans in San Francisco, Roger, I'm sure they're never going to forget you after 1972. That playoff game out there.
Well, that was an exciting game out there.
Wasn't that something? Got to be running. James Jones going off left tackle and stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and the 49ers have held. There's one of the few positive notes that the 49ers can point to as they hold the Cowboys at the 18-yard line, and will take over 1st and 10 from that point.
It's like Lawrence Pillars, number 65, get him around the ankles and stop that play.
Cowboys giving some work to their backup defensive unit now. So we mentioned Benny Barnes is in there, and Barnes, of course, is an interesting story, the regular cornerback who suffered an appendicitis attack before the season opener against Washington. Steve DeBerg airs it out, intended for Solomon. He can't quite catch up to it. And Barnes was activated just this week by the Cowboys. He underwent an emergency appendectomy the night before the regular season opener, and in less than a month, or just about a month, he is back on the playing field again. And one of his problems during the offseason, he had a foot operation which was bothering him in training camp, and he said actually the rest he got here, waiting to come back from the appendectomy, helped his foot, and he's feeling pretty good. Nevertheless, Tom Landry has gotten some excellent work out of Aaron Mitchell, and Steve Wilson is starting cornerback, so he's not inclined to make any change anytime soon. Cooper finds a hole over the middle, out to the 27-yard line.
He's working Benny at strong safety right now. Benny can go between strong safety and cornerback, and down the stretch, they're going to need him. They're going to need his experience, especially if he's not starting on third down. Randy Hughes should be back later on the season, so that Dallas secondary should have some strength back to it going down the stretch drive.
See the clock running down to the 2-minute warning. That's where we are right now. Barnes out there, number 31, who we've been talking about with the Cowboys. Cowboys 5-1 after this game. It's still tied with the Eagles for first place in the NFC East. Our executive producer of this NFL football game, Charles H. Milton III. Our producer, Bob Rowe, who will watch it the next time he dips his hand into Munchies if Staubach is around. And our director, Jim Silman. And, of course, some of the other folks who've helped us bring this telecast to you today. There have been more exciting football games played in the National Football League, but nevertheless, you can see the Cowboys are in pretty good shape as they head into their showdown against the Eagles next week. Linville Elliott taking that handoff on a third and short yardage situation at the 27-yard line, and the officials want a measurement. Can you remember being involved in the losing side of a ball game this lopsided?
And there's a couple similar to this. We lost to Minnesota one year up in Minnesota. In fact, the score was almost identical. I think it was 59 to something. And also lost on a Monday night to St. Louis one year, 38 to nothing.
And as I recall, on both occasions, bounced back and did very well. Pass is tipped, I believe, by Thornton, number 77, as DeBerg tried to get it away. Well, Steve's passing percentage will leave something to be desired. That's his 30th throw, and he's completed just 9. Danny White wound up 16 out of 22, 239 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to Drew Pearson. Was trapped once and did not have an interception. I would think that probably, unless Ferragamo had an unbelievable day for Los Angeles, would put him back on top in the NFC passing stats. DeBerg hitting Cooper, and Cooper runs out of bounds at the 37-yard line, pursued over there by Steve Wilson. Crazy Ray.
Crazy Ray.
Let's go, Cowboys!
She never hardened that.
I don't think she did either. I think she pretty well felt this game was sacked away. 59-14. Cowboys over the 49ers. Dallas' biggest point production since 1968, tying their all-time club record for most points in a single game. Third down, 49ers needing 2 for the first down. DeBerg still throwing. It's Dwight Clark at the 40, and Clark has enough for the first down. I don't believe you're going to see these teams using their allotment of timeouts here. Don't have to worry about that. Clock is ticking away with 1 minute and 15 seconds. 49ers with the hurry-up offense. DeBerg sideline throw, and Aaron Mitchell almost had himself an interception. Cowboys with 8 turnovers, 4 fumble recoveries, 4 pass interceptions. Adding up to a lot of points. It was 38-7 at halftime, in case you joined us late. Dallas scoring on its first 2 possessions, and the 49ers really never in this football game.
Well, the Cowboys started out with a strange twist. They had about a 50-yard gain after a shotgun formation snap backfired. Danny chased the ball around, threw it up to Jay Salty, and that started off a string of events that's been all against the 49ers.
Linville Elliott run out of bounds over on the far sideline by Dexter Clinkscale. I guess you have to go back to the turning point in the game. That was probably the play on the very first series of downs, wasn't it?
I think that has a lot to do with it. But when it's 59-14, it's tough to find a turning point.
I wouldn't think so. Well, Bill Walsh try to regroup for the Rams next week. That'll be at home. 49ers back in the confines of Candlestick, and of course the Rams are playing awfully well right now. This will be the 49ers' third straight loss after 3 opening victories, their best start since 1952. But no one really figured on them being in a divisional championship race this year. They just looked for improvement. Aaron Mitchell, 9th turnover of the day. That's 5 interceptions.
Well, that's the same play. Clark is double teamed by Dennis Thurman, number 32, and Aaron Mitchell's running with him, and Steve DeBerg tries to get over Mitchell's head. Mitchell's on him. Pretty good coverage. He's got help behind and Dennis Thurman, so he's not worried about Clark behind him, and jumps up, makes the interception. Interception number 5.
Long ride back to San Francisco for the 49ers tonight. First and 10. Cowboys at their 40-yard line. Butch Johnson wide to the left side. Carano is quarterback now for better than a quarter, but has not put the ball in the air. Tried to a couple of times and was forced to scramble. Flag is down as Newhouse gets the call and dives forward to the 43-yard line. Pat Haggerty, the referee, checking things out. Several stunning results in the NFL today. Cincinnati beating Pittsburgh for the second time this year, 17-16. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, finishing sudden death, tied.
Illegal formation, offense.
Buffalo losing its first game of the year to Baltimore. Penalty moves the ball back to the 36-yard line. First and 15. Carano did throw a pass. I was wrong. He's 0 for 1. That was the one that almost got intercepted.
Gonna run it out now.
Carano just sitting on the football. Cowboys will have to run one more play. And that will put San Francisco out of its misery.
Well, people have left their hearts in San Francisco, and I think San Francisco hopes they leave all their turnovers back here in Dallas, because that's killed them today.
They've left half a season full today, I'll tell you. 9, according to our unofficial count. Carano again sitting on the football, and the clock will wind down the last 12 seconds here. And that'll be the ball game. Dallas with a 38-7 halftime lead and moving out to a 59-14 victory over the San Francisco 49ers to remain tied with the Philadelphia Eagles for first place in the NFC Eastern Division. That's our final score, 59-14 from Texas Stadium. For Roger Staubach, this is Frank Lieber saying so long. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.